mother-in-laws rejected my triplets because they think they're unnatural.
Oh, what are they? What were they made in a laboratory of some kind?
Something weird about those three.
And we're back and nothing ever happened. This is the first time we're doing this.
I've been lurking here for a while and finally decided to share my own stories about my crazy mother-in-law. I have a lot, but this one stands out the most. I'll try not to waffle on, but this might get long. My husband and I started trying to have a baby in late 2010. We struggled, and 4 years later, we hadn't any luck. We tried a lot of different things, even 2 rounds of IVF, but nothing had stuck. By the way, this comes from Share the Stories, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, in June of 2015, we decided that if we didn't have any luck by December, we would stop trying and think about other options. Deep inside, I was certain we'd get lucky and that I'd get pregnant. I was wrong.
Man, that's so rough.
Oof. However, a couple of months into 2016, I got what I thought was a stomach bug. One trip to the doctors later, and it was confirmed. I was pregnant.
Oh, you got a uterus bug instead.
Nice.
3 of them from the sounds
Little
of it.
baby bug. We were so happy and relieved. Husband cried for about 2 hours. We had always planned to wait until 12 weeks to tell anyone, but we were so excited that we immediately called our parents. They were thrilled and agreed not to tell anyone until we were ready. Given my past fertility issues, I was terrified of losing the baby, so we went and got a scan almost right away and found out I was 10 weeks along. We also found out that we were having triplets. To quote my doctor, I don't do things in halves. Immediately after getting the scan, we went to husband's parents' place to tell them about the 3 babies. We sat them down. I was shaking with excitement and told them that we were expecting 3 babies.
Wow.
And I'm sure they were overjoyed to hear this wondrous news.
Yeah, maybe they just short-circuited. That's why.
Guys, I've never seen looks of joy turn to horror so quickly. See, what I didn't know was that they believe multiple births are unnatural and often demonic in nature.
What?
Where? What religion did they get that from?
Were Cain and Abel not in the same womb? Riley, you're the resident Bible man.
Yeah.
Cain and Abel were twins, whatever?
Brothers.
Were they born at the same time?
No, that's a different set of brothers.
I just had to consult with Riley. I don't know. Either way,
Romulus and Remus.
Seems like a wild take to say that twins and triplets are
That's
demons.
more babies. That should be like, babies. There's 2 of them. Yay.
Wow. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Weird.
Especially after everything they went through.
Don't even ask what kind of mental gymnastics it takes to come to this conclusion. I still don't know. Mother-in-law proceeded to explain how it clearly wasn't God's plan for us to be parents, or we would have been long ago, and how maybe someone else had a hand in this. Dude, literally Mary's sister's whole thing is that she could never have a child, and then when she's like 50, she has a kid. Because God gives her a kid. That's like religion.
My mind is being blown right now.
What?
Because Bubbles Marie said that, like, even back in the 17th century, like, the trope of the evil twin. I never thought about where that came from. And it's like, yeah, I guess it was rooted in like spiritual belief that one twin is just the evil counterpart of the other.
Strange.
Crazy.
Obviously, we couldn't say much as we were utterly shocked. She then suggested that we could forget this happened and try again.
What? What do you mean? What?
I'm sorry. So they're, let me see that. So they're religious and they think that these triplets are demonic. And so their answer to that is to terminate the children.
Yeah, they're doing triple backflips in their head.
They're like,
that's the
it's
mental
okay.
gymnastics.
You can terminate if you have triplets.
Well, because they're demons, clearly.
The demons.
They're demons brought forth by Beelzebub.
Weird.
Yeah, not right.
We left fuming and went to see my parents, who responded with joy, tears, and many congratulations. Yeah, like normal people. We tried to put mother-in-law and father-in-law out of our mind. Over the course of the pregnancy, we limited contact with them as they continued to make it clear that they were uncomfortable with the 3 babies. We were so excited and busy preparing that we barely missed them, and then we had the baby shower. I had thrown my sister all the baby showers for her kids, and she was so excited to be able to return the favor, finally, that I let her do whatever she wanted. It was beautiful, tasteful, and classy. We played some games, and everyone seemed to be getting along and enjoying themselves. And then came the gifts. Everyone had brought things in sets of 3. My favorite was from my cousin, a Thing 1, Thing 2, and Thing 3 suit.
Classic.
Cute. Mother-in-law had saved her gifts for last and was so excited for me to finally open them. She had gotten me a stroller, which I would have been super grateful for, except that we'd already ordered a custom one that worked for triplets. She then said, "The baby will love it. And look, I also got this for the baby, singular."
What are you doing?
Which baby are you picking?
Dude.
You're just going to pick the one you vibe with the most?
Yeah, and then you just sacrifice the other ones to
like,
the volcano.
No, these ones aren't cool.
Have you guys seen the movie What Happened to Monday?
No.
At which point, one of my aunts asked my mother if mother-in-law knew I was having triplets. It was a little uncomfortable, but my sisters smoothed things over and we moved on. After the party, mother-in-law, my mother, and my sister stayed to help clean up. And my mother was talking about how excited she was about having 3 babies around at once when my mother-in-law turned to me and said, OP, haven't you told her? She's only keeping 1.
Wait. Sorry. The religious parents are saying she's only keeping 1.
That's
the
what I
religious parents
said.
are only saying that?
That's what I said.
I don't even, oh wow.
This is absurd. Like, this is like immediate, like, do you need to go to the doctor? Is your brain
What's
okay?
happening?
And if they're like, oh, I'm totally fine, then I'm like, guess who's not allowed to be around the kids because I'm afraid you're going to try to throw them away.
Okay, also, if you are reading the Bible and stuff, you want like more kids, it's like, spread your seed and multiply and stuff. Like, why are we trying to get rid? What?
That's what I'm saying.
Because they're unnatural demons.
That's what I'm freaking saying.
Show me where that is. Show me.
As you can imagine, this sparked a whole argument which ended in me punting mother-in-law out and crying into cake. Husband had a good long talk with her, and we essentially cut contact for the remainder of the pregnancy.
Dude, I didn't know OP knew Keon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
OP cried into Keon's butt cheeks. Sorry, I had to say that out loud.
So the big day finally arrived, and I gave birth to 3 small but amazingly beautiful babies through cesarean after some complications. I was absolutely exhausted, so we decided that we would wait until I was better to contact my families. It was about 1 a.m. when it was all over, so we figured it wouldn't matter that much if we waited until the morning. Plus, rest and bonding time were important. The babies had to spend some time in the NICU due to their size, but we were able to pick them up for short periods of time. So the next day, around lunchtime, we called our families to tell them that our little miracles were here. My mother and sister came up right away and were absolutely besotted. Mother-in-law and father-in-law came in about an hour later, and my mother immediately offered the baby she was holding to mother-in-law. Why? Why would you do that?
Stop.
She's going to run away with that baby.
She's going to like smell each of them and be like, that's the good one. The other 2 are rotten.
The other ones smell off. Which one was born first? Mother-in-law asked before taking the baby. I told her the boy that my sister was holding. Why are we...
The boy. It was the boy. Why are we entertaining her? Why is she here? She's made it clear that she doesn't even think that your kids should exist.
Like, let's do some critical thinking here. I'll hold him then. I was confused, but offered the girl.
No.
2 boys, 1 girl.
No.
I was holding to father-in-law. He declined, saying he would wait for mother-in-law to finish. Now, you've probably clicked into what was happening. I didn't. Husband and I were so caught up in our babies that we didn't notice at first that they were blatantly ignoring the 2nd and 3rd born babies. We actually didn't catch on to this until they returned a couple of days later with a "it's a boy" balloon. Needless to say, this didn't fly with us. We had gone through too much for 2 of our babies to not count. We immediately put our foot down and said that if they wanted to see the babies, they would have to acknowledge that there were 3 of them. To this day, there is some favoritism, but they do love all 3. Oh.
Dude, honestly, I don't know.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, that sounds suspicious. And if I'm OP's husband, I'm being like, hey, do I have secret like siblings that I don't know
Yeah,
about
did you
that you
just get
gave
rid
away
of
because we were
kids?
twins?
I wouldn't trust these grandparents around
No.
your children.
Yeah,
No.
absolutely not.
I'm like arm's length,
stay far away.
low contact.
I'm actually pretty shocked that you just like your mom and you just immediately were like, yeah, here, hold the babies.
I
It's
mean,
like they made it really clear that they wanted you to give up 2 of your babies.
oh God. Maybe they were just like, that can't be real. Like, I gotta imagine if that was happening to me, I'd be like, I mean,
They're
'cause
joking.
that's so absurd. I
joshing
can't take
me.
that seriously, right? Crazy.
But there is an update. Nicole H says these bad decisions are made out of the high on life because 3 precious babies, they are not thinking clearly. Oh yeah, I think that totally like OP
Right
and
to
her
it?
husband were, OP just gave birth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions going on. I'm just kind of surprised that like the mother-in-law was allowed to, invited into the room.
I mean, you gotta assume where it's like, all right, well, once she sees the kids, she's gonna let go of this whole weird delusion that there's only one, right?
Well,
I don't know. Insane behavior.
Deirdre Satham says, no, they don't. They're showing favoritism. Yeah, OP was like, yeah, there's favoritism, but
Yeah.
no, they love all 3. There's favoritism.
Mm-mm.
But there is an update. After reading through all the comments on my previous posts, it got me worried about the in-laws having any contact with the kids. It certainly wouldn't be unlike them to hide the crazy only to spring it out all at once. They're not even hiding the crazy. It's 4 a.m. at the moment. What sleep? So I'll be having a talk with husband about it all tomorrow. The only reason we're still in contact with them is because I think husband is desensitized to their crazy / used to blocking it out. And we've been so hyped on baby love that we haven't really thought about how their behavior could affect us at all. But there is an update. Oh, it says, I also want to thank the Star Wars Trek for the nickname for my mother-in-law, the Kurgan.
The Kurgan. I don't watch enough Star Trek to know what that is.
Yeah, I
but
don't know
like
what that. I don't know the joke, but it's funny. There is an update. The Kurgan, the naming.
The Kurgan.
Deirdre Statham says, when did they hide the crazy? That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
That's why it's like husband needs to be like way more aggressive about this.
man.
He's so passive.
He's like, my parents, they're always getting rid of kids.
It's like, dude, they're gonna like lose one on purpose at this
they're
rate.
Like,
Like,
oh no,
this is absurd.
I don't know where the other 2 went,
Yeah,
but this one's here.
yeah.
That's why those were just spares.
And they'll be like, it must be a sign from
Yeah.
God that you were just meant to have this one.
Look at that. But there is a second update. While dear husband is at work before we can have a proper talk about the in-laws situation, and while all 3 kids are happily having floor time or communicating with Satan, who knows, I thought I'd write up about the naming. Oh yeah, what are your babies' names? Did you name them
Satan
Bob,
1, 2, and
Job, and Knob?
You should have named them all Horatio.
Oh, I was gonna say you could do like Lucy for Lucifer, Cypher,
Well, then you're really asking for the crazy to come out of the in-laws.
In husband's family, it's tradition for babies to be christened. My family, while also being religious, think that the kids should wait until 12 to be baptized so it can be their choice. Instead, we have what we call the name day, where we gather all the extended family and friends and formally announce the baby's name and welcome them to family. Dear husband and I talked it over and decided that we wanted to go with a name day for our little ones. Now, since it's tradition in our family to keep the name secret until name day, something I find weird, but whatever. But since our babies were preemie, so we're in hospital for longer than most, we had been nicknaming them. No one actually knew their full first names, though a few guessed from the nicknames. So name day rolls around. Everyone's gathered and we introduce our 3 babies. Everyone is excited and in love with the names. The younger 2 are quite traditional names along the lines of James and Mary, whereas our eldest is named Dante. You
For Dante's Inferno.
You literally did what you basically took my suggestion. Somehow, mother-in-law and father-in-law had never heard of Dante's Inferno, so they were saying how it was such a regal name, perfect for our firstborn. The next day, we got a panic call from my mother-in-law. She had been researching what Dante's name means to make a little
I'm gonna say
I'm sure it meant plaque,
yeah.
but I do think it's funny that it says plague for
A
him.
little plague.
And discovered Dante's work. That's so funny. She just stumbled upon Dante's work. She's like, what is this? Dante's Inferno? And then she starts reading Botticelli.
Well, imagine she finds
No,
the
wait,
one where it's called
that's
the
not
Divine
Botticelli.
Comedy instead,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's just like,
Divine
oh, he must be funny. And what's going on here?
What's the one I'm thinking of? Not Botticelli. He's an artist, isn't he? The other guy
Monticelli.
who's writing at the same time as Dante.
Oh, I don't know.
Friend.
No, it's fine.
Gotcha,
He wrote a bunch
Jelly.
of. Basically, it was during the plague, and he wrote about this like bunch of 20-year-olds who go out into the countryside and start telling stories. I had to do a whole class about this.
And clearly it didn't stick.
Nope. Starts with a B though. But of course we can't have known, but we have to change the name right away. Husband and I explained that yes, we knew about Dante's Circles of Hell, and yes, that's where the inspiration came from, and no, we weren't changing it. Mother-in-law cried and we hung up. She called back later and suggested changing the Decameron. Is what the book,
What?
The Decameron is the book that I was thinking of. I still
Nice.
can't remember the name of the
Yeah,
author.
I would have done the exact same thing as soon as I remembered what it was.
She called back later and suggested changing it to Gabriel. We hung up. She brought it up once more, and husband said if she mentioned it again, we would change all three's name to Lucifer. Yes.
Nice. But on a real level, name your kid Constantine.
Ooh, no, this is what you do. Lucy, Constantine, Dante.
I thought it was one girl and two boys? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And then Lucy and Constantine will bicker all the time.
Yeah. It hasn't been mentioned by her again, but we do get so many people saying how much they love the name. I ran into an old English teacher from high school, and he went on and on about how it was such a fantastic name. And did we know list of facts about the book? He ended up getting a copy of the book for his son and sending it to my mom. That's so sweet. It sits among the Mr. Men and Dr. Seuss books. Mr. Men?
Huh?
What is that?
Mr. Men?
Mr. Men books? I've never heard of that.
I'm looking that up
Wait,
immediately.
I got you.
Also, I looked up the Kurgan, and I can't believe I forgot what this was. It's from the Highlander, which I don't know if anyone here knows what that is, but it's played by Sean Connery.
Oh.
And the Kurgan is an immortal. He chases down all the other immortals from Highlander. And
Interesting.
That's why, you gotta do it.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out the Kurgan.
But there is an update. You're browsing as a guest. What are we looking at right now?
Wait, no.
What does that say? Oh,
Did that
Mr.
say
Men.
Mr. Meaty?
Mr. Meaty? Mr. Tickle.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And everyone's
Okay.
saying Boccaccio. Thank you.
Oh,
That
that's my
is his
favorite
name.
kind of bread. I love that. So tasty.
Update 3. So I sat down with husband last week and showed him the posts and everyone's comments. At first, he was upset and defensive about it all, but after he had some time to calm down and think it over, he agreed that it would be best to address the favoritism issues now rather than later. Yeah, obviously. They're going to be like 15, and he's going to come to them and he's like, now I'm sure you've noticed that your grandparents like Dante the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just straight up, they'll notice it before anyone, probably.
Exactly, which
you
is
know?
why you should address it with
Yeah.
your parents now, so that they don't do that.
Bro, or
Kick them out.
work the system.
Oh,
Yo, Dante.
elaborate.
Me and other sibling. Yo, Dante. And then Dante comes forward. Yeah, I know about our grandparents. I know I'm the favorite. And and Dante's like, it's messed up, but I think we can use this to our advantage. And the other two are like, what? He's like, what if I split this between us? I every time they come around, I lather them up. I put it on big. And then whenever they give me stuff, I give it to you guys because that's not fair.
I like that. I like a
Interesting.
team effort.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
so scam the grandparents.
And so let's say we're all three triplets, okay?
yeah,
I would
we're
come
all
to them.
pooch
I'm
triplets.
Dante. I
And
come
these
to
are
them
gonna
and be
be
like,
Gen Alpha?
I
You're
love
gonna be
improv.
Dante.
I'm Dante. I love improv. I love doing improv theater stuff. Okay, come watch my show. Come watch my show. I look just like my other twin. Boom. They watch you. I absolutely love, I want a new car. Can I get a new car? Boom. They get me a brand new car.
And then we all share it.
Will they?
Well, you and I already have cars, but this guy's car has
Oh,
been
I
not good
see.
for a while. So
Okay.
I get a car for my other twin.
I think you're
And I'm like, what do
overestimating
we
how
need?
much they like you.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, They like me a lot. I'm their favorite.
I don't know. Now that your name's Dante, they might switch up and be like, "You're the demon.
We'll see.
You're the demon."
Yesterday, Saturday, we dropped the babies at my parents' house and went over to talk to mother-in-law and father-in-law. We sat them down and essentially explained that we were worried there would be negative effects on the kids since they openly favored the firstborn. Guys, you were right. They flipped their crap. Father-in-law exploded first, asking us how we could honestly expect them to love something so unnatural.
It's quite literally
That's a
natural.
baby. That's a baby.
Bro, father-in-law, do I have to explain genetic alleles to you, my
Dude,
guy?
because I thought the
What are we
story,
doing?
really quick pause, I thought the story was going to be that they got IVF, and that's
Yeah.
why they were like, oh, this is unnatural. But
I
no,
did
that's
too.
just like, this is just plain
Dude.
old birth.
They're miracle babies.
This
they
is
had
just
3.
regular
They were like,
old birth.
we might never have kids. Now we have 3.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, this is the best, they're like, well, you know you have 2 demons, right?
Yeah, did you know that?
Crazy.
I bet the
Were
husband's
you
like,
aware?
yeah, it's unnatural how I put that dude on her.
Dude, what?
That's why she got 3 kids.
That's what OP's husband said to his parents.
That's what he's thinking. He's like, yeah, dude, that is pretty unnatural. Now
Honestly,
that you think
at this
about it.
point, that's what you should start saying. You should start trying to just make your parents uncomfortable, OP's husband. Like, because I would not entertain this. They're cut off already for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother-in-law then jumped in saying that we had made the choice to keep the things and had to suffer the consequences. She's like, just you wait.
Oh my
You've
God.
birthed the Antichrist. The day of reckoning is upon us. Run for your lives. Obviously, this went down well with us. / sarcasm. Husband lost his crap too and told them that they were crazy and would never see him or the babies again.
Thank
Finally,
the Lord.
Finally. He took me by the arm and led me out, telling them never to contact him again. We got in the car and drove to a park a few blocks away. Husband was really agitated, so I let him have a few minutes to cool off while I stayed in the car and tried to take deep breaths. While I was waiting, I called my parents and let them know that in-laws might try to contact them, but they weren't to let them near the kids. When husband had calmed down, he got back in the car and we started making a safety plan. Since the kids are only ever in our care or my parents' care, which is pretty rare, we didn't need to alert anyone about it yet. We decided the best thing to do would be to install security cameras, change the locks, in-laws have a spare key, oh, yikes, and hasten our plan to move. We've been wanting to for a while, but with new triplets, it's been a little tricky. We then went and picked up the babies and went home. Husband has a friend who is a locksmith, so he called, gave him a brief rundown, and asked if it would be possible to change the locks this weekend. His friend said yes, but it would have to wait until Sunday. No problem, that's great, etc. We had just started looking into security measures when we got a knock on the door. Guess who? Yep, mother-in-law, but not alone. No, she'd brought her priest to visit the babies.
What?
If this priest doesn't come in here and be like, these are normal babies.
Yeah.
These are regular old babies.
Yep, I'm gonna go to wherever he goes, to wherever he works, and being like, guys, sure you want to be giving your time to this guy?
I'm
Are you sure about this?
I'm sure he's gonna be like, yeah, the kids are fine. What are you
These
doing?
these are just babies.
I'm
praying.
Please.
The priest seemed quite uncomfortable at being dragged into the family drama,
Yes.
but he said that mother-in-law was concerned about demonic activity around the younger 2 babies. We told him the children were fine, then told mother-in-law that if she didn't leave, we would be calling the police. She then proceeded to call the police herself, claiming that we were abusive and cruel and needed to have the babies taken away. The police took over an hour to arrive. We had closed the door and gone about our business. And when they did, mother-in-law was howling about how we were such awful people.
Oh my God.
The priest told the police what had actually gone down.
The priest is still there?
Yeah, he's been here for an hour. He's like,
Yeah, she's hired me for like 3 hours. So
yeah,
Dude, this is like a sitcom. This is wild.
we told them the same, and they told mother-in-law to leave.
let's go. Okay,
Okay.
honestly,
At least
priest.
the priest is
W
like,
priest.
yeah, I don't know. She told me that her grandkids were,
Yep.
demons, so I came to check it out, and
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
babies.
Next thing the priest has to do Just talk to them and be like, yo, if you guys still want to be members of this church, you can't be accusing babies of having demons in them.
He's
We gotta
like,
stop.
I was called for an exorcism, but I think that the person who called me needs an exorcism.
First off, you know how disappointed I am? Second off, you're crazy, girl.
You're
Come on.
crazy.
Honestly, for a fake call like that,
Dude.
I don't know. Put
Yeah,
her in the
imagine you're
holding
a
cell,
priest,
dude. Put her in a
just-
tank.
Yeah. But imagine you're a priest waiting for an exorcism and you go and you have to like,
You
oh, you
finally
had
think
triplets?
it's your
Congrats. Wait,
time.
what? I'd be so mad. I'd be so pissed.
Like, wasting my time.
Yeah.
One of the female officers said she would put the incident on file and told us to contact her if anything else happened, which I thought was fantastic. Husband has obviously been really upset by everything that happened. He cried a lot last night, but woke up this morning really determined to fix things. The locks have been changed, security cameras are set up with audio at the front door, and there has been no further contact from mother-in-law or father-in-law. I'm so glad that I posted here, and I sincerely thank everybody for their advice. I shudder to think what could have happened had we kept on the way we were going. Any further advice would be most welcome. And there is a fourth update.
Lordy,
Dude.
lordy.
Dude, movie pitch. It's about 3 demon babies. The mother-in-law is like trying to save everyone from these 3 demon babies. She knows there's a demon, and everyone's like, you're crazy. You're crazy, mother-in-law.
But she's not.
But she's right. There were demons in the babies the whole time.
I like the flip side of that, where it's like a dark comedy where it's just like about messed up family dynamics, and these people have triplets, and their mom is just going insane over it.
So
And
you
then
like
somebody,
what
it
this
was
story
Persa.
is.
Persa said they should say that I lied and the boy wasn't the first one, and then they'll be like, now you don't know who your chosen baby is. It's like, that would be great.
You do it. You put them all under coconut shells. You switch them up, and you're like, choose. Update 4. On top of everything happening, the triplets have chosen now as their time to get their first cold.
Oh.
Dang. Doctor has been and confirmed that it's nothing too serious, but 3 cranky babies are hard work. Or maybe they don't have the cold. They have a demon in them. Do we think about that?
Do we think about that?
I wanted to address some reoccurring questions/comments. First thing is the priest. A lot of you were right that he came along with mother-in-law not because he believed there was actually demonic activity, but because he was worried that there was something else going on. He reached out to us today and said that if we need help, support, he can help us find groups, therapists, etc. Nice priest. He also suggested that we keep our distance from mother-in-law as she seemed to have severe delusions. He also put us in contact with a lawyer who is willing to do some free work for us if needed.
Nice.
W priest?
Yeah, good priest. I would say get like an official restraining order or something like as fast as possible.
I mean, you have the word of the priest. You also have the police officers who have filed a report. So I definitely think that you could get this restraining
You have
order.
the laws of man and
the law
God
is
on
on
your side.
That's true. We also asked him about the multiple births being a natural thing, and he confirmed that it definitely isn't in the Catholic doctrine. Yeah, no doy. Did we look that up? What religion or practice is that from?
I think it's just like a really antiquated sentiment.
Yeah, but like from where?
I think
Is it just like all cultures have some
17th
sort
century
of
Europe is what
thought
I
about
think
that?
Bubbles Marie made a comment earlier.
I
Secondly,
mean, they did think that left-handed people.
that is
were-
true. Actually, one of my friends' fathers was born left-handed and was raised in like a really religious background, and they broke his hand, so that he wouldn't use it, and so you had to learn how to
Yeah.
that was
my
and that was like
God.
a super common practice
Man,
until like the
re-
50s or like until like somewhat recently.
Religion will make people do the dumbest
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Really
that
quick
crazy?
story about the introduction of cutlery, like forks and knives and spoons, to Europe.
Yeah.
Before they were introduced there, people just ate with their hands, and of course, people would
Yeah.
get sick from it. And then it got brought over from like a princess from like the Middle East or something, or from like Persia came over, and all the church people were like, "This is an affront to God. This is blasphemy." And it's like, why would you use these tools when we were given God's perfect tools to eat with? It's demonic.
Yeah, which is funny how it has now come back around, and people are like, "Oh, not using your cutleries."
What?
People nowadays are like,
They are?
Yeah, in Western culture, I feel like it's like
you eat with your hands?
what?
What?
No, I'm saying that people in a lot of Western
Oh,
cultures are like, you must
got
use
you.
your cutlery.
I thought you were saying bare hand eating was coming back. I was like, I am not tapped into that.
Oh, well, I mean, in many cultures it is.
Well, I know, and like,
Anyway.
I was just confused.
Secondly, CPS, we got in contact with a friend of ours who works in the local branch and gave her a rundown. Her exact words were, "I effing told you she was nuts." She organized to have a social worker drop by this week to do a health assessment and had gotten us booked in to see a psychologist in a few weeks. We've started looking for another house. Because of dear husband's job, we can't leave the town, but we are looking at houses on the other side of town from in-laws. We've also been looking into more security measures. We're in Australia, so we don't have Walmart here. As far as I know, certainly not in our town, but we're looking at finding window sensors. We have also contacted close friends and family and let them know what's going on. My parents are absolutely horrified, and my best friend has offered to stake out our lawn dressed as Satan.
Wow.
That's funny.
That's a good deterrent.
Good friend. I think that's most of the thing, but my brain is a little fried at the moment. And there is a 5th update, but did we find out about where this comes from?
The 3 baby thing?
Yeah. Or no, just
not a
like
thing.
twins, triplets.
Not a thing.
Well, it has to
Well,
be
no,
because
it's
the
gotta
evil
be.
twin trope does exist.
Where does it, like, look up, like, where,
Yeah, I got it.
what,
I'm gonna look up 17th century.
when did that happen?
evil
When
twin
did they
trope.
think that twins and triplets were demonic? The lawyer princesses, I do see sometimes the fork compared to the devil's pitchfork. Like, what? Interesting.
Yeah, nothing. They're not. They can't. They're not pulling it up. They're like, "What are you talking about?"
See, this is what
Gothic
sucks.
literature and horror.
No, I looked it up
evil
online
twin
and on
trope.
chat, and it didn't work on either one.
Interesting. And what did you find?
This is an AI description. The evil twin trope, a character who is an evil counterpart to a protagonist, stems from the doppelganger or shadow self motif, often seen in Gothic literature and horror, where twins represent subjective dichotomies and externalize moral or religious struggles. So it's probably just like, some old ass literature.
Interesting. Maybe Cheese says evil twin was a thing in Nigeria, in Cross River. Olden days.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do research on this in my own time because I'm interested. But there is a 5th update, and what the hell is? Oh my God, they're from here, and I'm assuming you're from Australia. But let's get into this. It's been at least 6 months since my last post. I can't believe how fast it's all gone, and so much has happened. Warning, this will probably be a long post. First, the babies are doing amazing. They're getting so big, starting to walk and saying a few words. So far, we're managing pretty well with them and are absolutely so happy. Second, after months of lawyers, courts, and stress, we finally have a no contact order on mother-in-law. She isn't allowed anywhere near us and isn't allowed to contact us or have third parties contact us. This is a big win, and was fought very hard for. She pulled out every trick in the book to fight us. I can't remember the exact dates of all of this, so I apologize if it's all a bit vague. After she brought the priest to visit, that basically punted everything off. We got CPS to conduct a visit and health check, and they gave us the all clear. Mother-in-law then began reporting to them daily, if not multiple times a day, pretending to be neighbors and friends, complaining of hearing us screaming at the children, and the children being bruised and malnourished. More welfare checks. Can't see anything wrong.
So this is when the police need to get involved, or you need to
this is
proactively
harassment charges.
tell the police that she's making false claims and allegations, and she can actually go to jail for that.
Exactly. She would call the police and say that we left the babies alone outside in the car. And these are false claims.
Yeah.
The police ended up charging her with supplying false information.
Let's go.
Finally.
Let's go.
She started sending FM to visit us. Is that the father?
I don't know.
She started
what
sending
FM is.
Friar man.
She started sending FM to visit us, 2 of her sisters in particular. Who's to say? They would basically come over, coo over the babies, and leave. At first, we thought there was no harm in it. Then CPS came again and said they'd complained that our house was filthy and the babies were being left in dirty nappies all day. Now, the house wasn't at its tidiest, I'll admit. I was a bit behind on the laundry and dishes, but it was definitely not as bad as they made it out to be. Next time they came over, we told them that we didn't want them visiting for a while. They called the police, and the lady officer from my first or second post came over and basically told them to bugger off and leave us alone. Oh my God. You can't catch a break. This is so frustrating. You're trying to take care of three babies. One baby is hard. 3 babies? And people keep freaking filing reports on you?
This is when, like, no, I don't want to advocate for that. In Seattle, y'all could legally fight about this, but I don't think y'all live in Seattle.
They live in Australia.
Yeah, so
just file a restraining order.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like at some point it needs to be like the police are like, we're not going to respond to calls to this house about child endangerment because it's absurd and clearly there is a targeted attack against these people.
Yeah, but I guess they have to respond to all calls.
I mean, probably on principle.
But, you know. A few months after this all started, we got approved for another house. Unfortunately, due to husband's work, leaving town isn't an option. But we didn't tell anyone our new address except for my parents, my best friend, and husband's best friend. It was so peaceful and calm for a while that I was beginning to relax and let my guard down. No! One day, husband and his friend had gone out, and my best friend and I were at home, chatting and doing some sewing together. The doorbell rang, and as I had a mouthful of pins and my hands full of fabric, my best friend went to get it. I heard her open it, and then aloud, "What the F?" Guess who? Right. Mother-in-law. She was there with an armful of presents for the babies and a big grin on her face. I came over the door and told her to leave. She was pouting and asking if I hadn't put all that behind me. She pointed out that it wasn't very Christian of me not to forgive, to which my friend responded that it wasn't very Christian of her to be a raging witch. Mother-in-law obviously did not like that. I again told her to leave and said I would call the police. Best friend said, "On it," and dialed the cops. Mother-in-law then burst into fake tears and started begging for forgiveness, saying it was cruel to keep the little angels from her.
Oh, now they're all little angels?
Now they're all little angels.
Interesting.
Very funny.
You think after all those fake reports that now I'm going to let you back?
Dude, you thought they were demons.
You're crazy.
I swear you could hear the eye rolling from myself and my best friend. Cops arrived and listened to both sides of the story and told her to move along. One of the cops told me I should be kinder to her, which made me pretty mad, but I just brushed it off.
Yeah, whatever.
I'd be like, okay, you do that then.
It's like that's like the same energy as like a cop telling you to be nice to your stalker.
Yeah.
It's like maybe he'll leave you alone if you're just nicer to him.
Maybe if you're just give him a little compliment.
Yeah.
When husband got home, I told him, and he called our lawyer and basically told him that we don't want her anywhere near us. That set everything into motion, and the court dates started. We basically had to prove that she was an actual danger to our children, but she played the concerned grandparent and turned on the crocodile tears spectacularly.
Do you think we have enough evidence to prove that she's dangerous for the kids?
I think you have evidence of derangement with all these fake child endangerment claims.
I'm just trying to figure out what this, what do they have? One, do they have a restraining order? And if they do, why is it so useless?
It doesn't sound like they have one.
I don't
get a
think
restraining order.
There's no way she could just show up on the front porch with gifts if they had a restraining order.
Literally get a restraining order.
And the cops would be like, well, you should just be nicer to her.
Get a restraining order.
Yeah. The time is way gone. You should have had one already.
Yeah. Harriet Spaghetti says, that's when you say calling the cops is the kinder option compared to what I really want to do, so you need to get her out of here.
Facts.
As we didn't have sufficient evidence to keep her away from us, the judge basically turned the case out. Our lawyer thinks that the judge may have been biased, but we couldn't do anything else other than try to gather more evidence and appeal. Sorry if I'm being super vague. The details are exhausting and would take months to write out.
So the judge didn't do anything?
No, the judge was like, I don't think we have enough evidence here.
What? That's crazy. She literally made all these fake claims trying to get your kids taken away from you and then enlisted family members to do it for her when hers weren't working.
Oh, family members.
So that's like she's conspiring to have the children taken away by the state.
And they're like, I don't know. There's just not any evidence. Maybe you should be nicer to her.
Judge is like, how nice have you been, though? Yeah. Have you given her any compliments today?
Have you given her any gifts? She shows up to your house with gifts, and you don't give her any gifts back? Seems a little rude.
Not very Christian of you.
We talked about moving again, but really didn't have the money to do so. So best friend told us to stay at her place, and she'd stay at ours. Ooh, little house swap. Yeah, are you gonna fall in love with Jack Black and Jude Law? At least for a little while, so we'd feel safe and comfortable. Have I said how great she is? Because she's great. So we did a house swap, and a few days later, she sends me a video of her opening the door and mother-in-law there. Mother-in-law openly recoiled and started shouting things like, "Good Lord, my heart," and runs off.
She said, "Oh, be still my
Oh,
heart."
good Lord.
What? Just because your friend opened the door?
Yeah.
Like, oh!
Eh.
It's crazy.
It's like a blinding light. Oh, good heavens. Best friend answered the door, stark unclothed. Oh, that's why. Mother-in-law didn't return for about a week and a half after that. When she did, she demanded to know where we were, and best friend pretended she didn't know who mother-in-law was talking about.
Let's go.
She's like, I've never heard of people by those names around here.
It's like the episode of The
Oh my God.
Office where Jim gets replaced.
No, yeah. No. This is what the friend does. She opens the door and she says, "OP and her husband, they've been dead for 70 years. Gaslighter. Mother-in-law started staking out the house, but after a few days must have realized we wouldn't be around and stopped. We reported each instance to the police, adding to our file. A few weeks after this, husband had a work dinner where he was getting an award, a pretty big deal. So his best friend and mine volunteered to watch The Three Musketeers. We let them stay at our house where best friend was staying, as mother-in-law hadn't been around and we thought it would be fine. Wrong. It would have been around 9:30. The kiddos were asleep and our two friends were watching a movie together when they heard something weird in the back room. They went to investigate and found one of the windows open. This was mid-late winter, so it had definitely been closed.
Dude, see, now, so after she kidnaps the babies,
Yeah, they're
then
like,
the courts will be like, "Oh, I guess we can give you the restraining order now."
I guess there's evidence.
Crazy.
They immediately went to the baby's room, which was actually the spare room. Then my friend stayed there while husband's friend went to search the house. Friend called the cops while he went searching. About 5 minutes later, she heard a whole F from upstairs.
Probably holy.
A holy F from upstairs and ran up to see what was happening. I'm shaking as I type this. I still can't believe it. Mother-in-law was in the old nursery upstairs. She had 2 baby carriers with her. The 2 boyfriends kept her in the room until the police came and she was arrested.
Nice.
We got home shortly after and I was in near hysterics after finding out what happened. Mother-in-law was charged with breaking and entering and attempted kidnapping. She'll probably do jail time, but unfortunately the courts here move really slowly, so she hasn't even been sentenced yet. Oh my goodness. Get this woman off the streets.
Come on, Australia. Do
Come
better.
on.
Have a better legal system. What is that?
Her court date is coming up soon. After this, we obviously took the case back to court, and this time the judge could hardly deny that she was a danger to the children, so our request was granted. She was released on bail, but under strict instructions to go nowhere near us and not to contact any third parties about us. Apparently, she thought she had a loophole, and she sent father-in-law around. This would have been around Christmas time.
This stupid woman doesn't know what a third party is.
She's like, "Oh, you thought you could keep me and all third parties away? Well, I'm going to send a third party."
She's like the lawyer from Arrested Development, but it's like the husband and wife can't be tried for the same crime.
Brilliant. He basically tried to guilt husband into letting him into the house, pulling the whole, "It's Christmas. Can't you forgive your old man?" Crap. Dear husband told him to bugger off and leave us alone. Katara Rain says, this story is way funnier when you remember they're Australian. If I could do a consistent Australian accent, I would have been doing it the whole time.
You're so right, though. It does become immediately funnier.
We switched houses back and things have actually started to settle down again. Our 2 best friends are now very good friends. We're thinking maybe more. Oh my God, did you set them up in a really weird way?
You're going to get even more babies out of this situation.
That's so funny. If imagine you're talking to someone, you're like, "Oh, how did you 2 meet?" And they're like, "Oh, well, our 2 friends were being stalked by their mother. So we decided to take their house for a little while and we just started, getting really close. And then she showed up and harassed us.
She broke in through the window and we
Yeah.
helped get her arrested by keeping her in the
Yeah.
room where she was going to steal the babies.
Classic story.
Babies.
Rom-com.
God, that story is so funny in Australia.
and have been absolutely amazing. We had them both over for dinner to say thank you, and they were definitely vibing.
Dude, they have shared experience.
Yeah, sure trauma. Damon Bybase. I'm sorry again if this is incoherent. Everything seems like a blur now. Sometimes I wonder if maybe it wasn't all some kind of weird dream. Anyway, that's where we're at the moment. I'm hoping mother-in-law's trial will get bumped up and that she won't be able to get out of doing time. Our court here is more than a little biased, unfortunately, but we'll see. Biased towards what?
Yeah, biased
mother-in-laws?
towards lunatics.
I think mother-in-law and the judge go to the same church. I think
but
that.
the priest seems like chill.
Who knows? Who knows what this mother-in-law did for the judge?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to relax and enjoy the time with the little ones while they are little. They seem to grow every day and are so precious. I can't believe how lucky I am to have them. Update 6. But do you have any thoughts? Because this story is crazy.
I mean, my only thought is, put him in jail already. What are we doing?
Yeah, get him out of there.
Jail.
Bye.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Update 6. Guys, I can't believe how long it's been since I last wrote and how much has happened. I don't even know where to begin. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who checked in on me, and I'm sorry I didn't reply to everyone individually. I'll try to reply to any comments or questions on this thread. So, mother-in-law. She ended up getting not much more than a slap on the wrist.
That's insane.
How? She broke into your house and tried to steal your babies. She got a community corrections order similar to probation, I guess. We were hoping for jail time, but no such luck. We ended up having to go to court to testify, which was draining, with the result not worth it. After that, however, things settled down. Husband's best friend and my best friend did start dating.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wee.
More babies.
Yeah.
Also, how fun. Like, your best friend and his best friend. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Your best friend and my
Now
best
you can always hang out with your best friend all the time.
Yeah.
Go double dates with your best friend.
I'll try and find a good best friend.
Oh,
for you,
but what if
Sophia.
they get in a fight?
Better.
They get in a spat, and then y'all get in a spat because of their spat.
Double
you
spat.
take each other's. Yeah, you take.
Tricky.
Might
tricky,
multiply.
tricky.
Yeah.
They're still together and pretty happy. It's great, and they're officially and legally the ones who would take the triplets should anything happen to husband and me. They're so supportive and have been there through all this. I can't thank them enough. Unfortunately, the CCO wasn't enough to deter mother-in-law. She got it into her head that she wasn't winning us against us because Satan had our backs. Maybe he does. Who knows? For about 3 months, we heard nothing. She didn't come near us. We checked the security footage. There were no flying monkeys, no father-in-law. Everything was perfect. Too perfect.
A little too quiet.
Then, about 5 months ago, I got a call from one of husband's aunts. She wanted to know what had happened to the babies. What do you mean, what happened to the babies?
Oh, yeah, that they didn't get kidnapped.
She's like, hey, the baby's still there? Doing baby things? Obviously, I was really confused. The conversation went a bit like this. Hello?
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 OP?
Hello?
RP?
IP? Aunt, how are you?
You gotta switch us so you can.
Okay, guys, I just want you to know it's going to sound terrible.
Yeah, it's
'cause
gonna be bad.
I have never claimed to be able to do a good accent. Hello?
Hello?
No, I'm the first one. Hello?
Hello? OP?
Aunt, how are you?
I'm fine, darling. I'm so sorry to hear your news.
I'm new.
The babies. God, I can't believe it. After everything you went through.
I'm not quite sure.
It's all in the back. It's in the back of the mouth.
Dude, when we were in Colombia, I locked in a really good accent and an Australian accent. No,
Back of the mouth.
Wait, hold on. Rise of lights.
Back.
I'm not.
Yeah,
sure.
you were too forward with the knives.
Not as hard. I'm not quite.
Not.
Rise of lights. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite. No, it's still a little British. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure.
Back.
It's getting there.
All right.
That's you.
I would have never believed it, but then I saw the graves. Oh, darling, is there anything I can do?
I don't know what you. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're. I
Just lock in.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh no. Little second, little third. Mother-in-law told me about how they passed away.
What?
Oh.
This is a crazy conversation,
What?
by the way.
What? Bick? Go back.
Oh, wait, that's the end. I quickly
All right.
cleared it all up, promised my children were not passed away, and asked her where the graves were that she had seen. Apparently, there are 2 little memorial stones in mother-in-law and father-in-law's backyard, engraved with my youngest 2 names.
This is deranged. That's absurd.
I want to see the picture, and I bet you $10. It's AI. It's AI. Actually, no, it's not.
No,
AI.
dude, it's
I
probably.
don't think they know how to do that.
They probably had these custom ordered and put in their backyard because they are sick, twisted individuals. Oh my lord.
If that isn't messed up, I don't know what is. I immediately called husband and told him what aunt had told me. He didn't quite believe her, saying that she's probably lying, but said he would swing by and see if he could see them. I pointed out that that wouldn't be a good idea since we're trying to prove that we want nothing to do with them. In the end, we decided that it wasn't worth it to try and prove anything by seeing if aunt was lying or not. It still bothered both of us, but as far as we could tell, there's not a lot we could do about it. A couple of weeks later, the 2 boyfriends, keep saying boyfriends, the 2 best friends were over. You should be saying BFFs.
Maybe
BF is for boyfriend.
Maybe they don't think it's gonna be forever though.
The friendship?
BFFN, best friend for now.
Ooh. A couple of weeks later, the 2 best friends were over, playing with the kids and giving me a chance to hang some washing out. It was a warmish day, so we were all out in the backyard together. We had recounted the story to them, and they both agreed that if it isn't true, that's messed up. My best friend was pretty ready to pull out a Mission Impossible suit and get over there in the night. But we all agreed it's not worth it.
I don't know, dude. I think it is worth it.
Maybe it's
I
worth it.
disagree. I don't think you should let the sick, deranged people have a delusion that your children are buried in their backyard.
That would be
absurd.
Something needs doing.
Call the police about that.
Please. She did bring up a good point that we'll have to be extra vigilant about making sure the kids understand that they don't go anywhere with anyone they don't know, especially as they get older. She explained the tricky people thing, warning kids about people they know, not just strangers. We were halfway through this conversation when the doorbell rang. Husband went to get it while the rest of us stayed in the yard. He was gone for quite some time, and when he finally came back, it was with 2 police officers. Uh-oh. They asked if they could talk to me, and I agreed, a bit too stunned to do anything else. We went inside, and they explained that there had been a report of severe abuse going on in the house. Obviously, I was shocked and started telling them about the CPS visits and how we were cleared. But that wasn't what it was about. No, apparently I'm abusing husband.
Like, is there no checks in place to just filter out these repeated offender fake claims?
What I'm confused about, it's less like, oh, they shouldn't be coming at all, because I understand why they're coming, but like, I feel like you would have, a thing that
There's
said,
a record.
There's people calling about this place all the time, and it's false claims.
They do have that, or they do in the States. I don't know. I guess they don't have it in Australia.
They explained that his mother had called them, distraught, begging to be allowed to help him to leave. She told them husband had reached out to her to help, and I had repeatedly framed her until she was banned from seeing us. She was terrified that husband was going to end up passed away. I was so angry, but realized flying off the handle probably wouldn't help my case. As calmly as possible, I told them our story, starting from when we told them we were having triplets. They listened, took notes, and when I finally finished, I was in tears and shaking. And they're sitting there, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is so crazy. Oh my God. They were really nice, explained that they had to look into reports like this, but they didn't think anything was wrong. And when they asked husband if he was being mistreated by me, he laughed and pointed out how small I am in comparison to him. They were about to leave when I asked them about the graves. I gave them a rundown of what aunt said and asked if there was anything we could do to confirm. They said that unfortunately, while it's creepy, it's not against the law. And the best thing we could do is stay away. And then the best and worst thing happened. Mother-in-law came over to our house at about 1 a.m. We have footage of her sprinkling water, we're assuming of the holy variety, over the lawn, kneeling and praying and making the sign of the cross repeatedly. We don't check footage every night, usually only if something disturbs us. So this went on for several nights before we found it. What made us check happened about 5 days after the first time she came. We were woken in the middle of the night by a loud crashing noise. I went straight to the triplets, who were sleeping soundly, while dear husband went downstairs. I also called the police because after everything, I'd rather that than a false alarm. And I was told it would be about 45 minutes before anyone could get there. 45 minutes? What's the point? At that point, don't even come. I'd be like, okay, well, I might not be alive by then, so thanks.
Yeah, they'd just be like, so we're here to assess the damage now.
Yeah, sorry. Couldn't stop the break-in.
And then we all gave each other high fives.
Husband came upstairs and said that one of the large pot plants we have on the back veranda was knocked over. It's huge, not something that could be blown over or tipped by something nudging it. We took the triplets into our room and waited for the police. They searched but couldn't find anyone. They dusted for fingerprints around a few of the windows near the pot, but again, nothing. They guessed someone was probably trying to use it to reach a higher window and it fell over. Husband had been loading the security footage and asked if they would wait and watch it with us. Mother-in-law, obviously. She came into the backyard and peered through some of the windows. She tried the back door, but it was locked. She tried the downstairs window, locked. She then tried climbing onto the plant, and it tipped over. Then she bolted. By the way, you can bolt on over to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left of the story.
Yes.
But Durant says, why isn't the mother-in-law getting arrested for violating this PO? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Why doesn't she have multiple arrests?
I know it's not illegal to have the headstones.
What is freaking
but
weird, man?
It should be something needs to happen with that. That's so deranged.
Really freaky.
Like they should be
Really
forced to move somewhere
freaky.
else that's farther away.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like you gotta move countries now. Those are the rules. The police officers aware of the ABO against her immediately called it in. Another caller went to her house where apparently she had been all night. When she found out about the footage, she claimed she must have been sleepwalking. She was hit with a hefty fine and given a last warning. Next time, prison. Since that day, we haven't heard anything from them. I have no doubt that if they find us, it'll start again. But for now, I'm just glad for some peace and quiet. I'm sorry for taking so long between updates. And that is the end of that story. Man, oh man. What
So
a
these
freaking
people
day.
really ended up with basically no consequences.
Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened.
Because
wow.
they're relatives, I guess. Like I imagine
I
if
have
these
no
were
idea.
strangers, that it would be way more severe.
I would hope so.
But the fact that they're in-laws probably gives them an unbelievable benefit of
Yeah.
the doubt, which is absurd.
Yikes.
Yowza.
Sunny says, I have a box of grapes out right now. This is interesting, very weird behavior.
Nice.
I just really want grapes.
Wait,
Now.
a box of grapes?
Yeah, like one of those containers of grapes, like a plastic box.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like plastic container.
Sorry, I'm used to the bagged grapes.
Yeah, oh my god, I would
I'm used to
love
grape
some
bags.
green grapes, right? Cold green grapes right now.
Mm.
Not frozen. I don't want frozen. I
No,
want
of course
cold green
You
grapes.
don't freeze the green grapes. Why would you
People
freeze
freeze green grapes all the time. It's like a little snack, but I don't want those right now. I
Do
want
people
cold
do
green
that,
grapes.
or is it the reptiles? The reptilian lizard people.
Maybe both?
I'm sorry. I don't. If you like frozen
Okay, no
grapes,
los
I
dos.
don't think you're a reptilian. I'm
You
just
heard it
messing
here
around.
first, folks. But that is the end of that story. We had an unplanned pregnancy, and now the mom wants a DNA test?
Test failed, maybe.
And this is directly from our subreddit, r/OK Storytime. Not sure where to start, so I'll begin with how I met. She, 33 female, and I, 39 male, connected through Hinge in January of 2024. The first date was fine, so we decided to go on a second date, which went much better.
Hell yeah.
After a month of meeting each other, we met a friend and her husband out and made a night of heavy drinking. One thing led to another, and we started to mess around. Is it really messing around if y'all are dating consistently?
They're messing around.
By the way, this comes from Major Consequence 92, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, as things get heated up,
Oh, God.
she stopped me and asked if I had protection because she's not on birth control. In my wasted stupor, I replied that I did not, but had great pull-out game. And we proceeded with the fun. No, you don't. No, you don't. Any man who says that is lying.
Unadvised. Wait, he said he did have
He did.
or did not?
He
He said he
did.
did.
But I'm saying any man who says that is lying.
Mhm,
Use
mhm.
protection.
Use it.
Naughty, naughty, OP. Naughty, naughty. You're one of our own, and I'm telling you off.
Come on. Come on.
Well, flash forward 1 month, and we find out that she was pregnant.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Who was giving you the stats about your pullout game?
I couldn't have predicted this. We need a chart. Okay.
I need a chart. Where are these stats coming from?
We need some
9 out of 10
calculus.
doctors? I think not. Apparently, my pullout game sucked. Yeah. Shocking. At this point, we were in month 2 of our relationship. Dang. Ooh. And things
Wow.
had been going great, but this news threw a wrench into everything.
Yeah.
We will spend the next month trying to process this news and prepare for our new addition. It was in month 4 when things started to take a turn for the worse. It started with a doctor appointment with a genetic specialist regarding a genetic disorder of mine.
Oh.
Uh-oh. The doctor mentioned kidney tests that had been ordered for me to take. I hadn't done the tests yet, but went to the hospital the next day. She was understandably upset with me and let me know. After that, there was nothing I could do right. She became irritable every time I saw her. I attributed the change in attitude to new hormones that she was experiencing, so I just kept apologizing for any grievance of hers. As that month continued, she started to become condescending, asking if I could do anything right, or if I was good at anything, because I don't think you are. She could not trust me to do any task that she gave me because I'd just screw it up. Eventually, I lost my patience. I calmly and sheepishly asked her not to speak down to me.
Yeah.
She gave a sarcastic apology and spent the rest of the night not talking to me and sleeping in another room.
Healthy.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
healthy.
you were 2 months into your relationship. Not even official relationship.
This is a lot to be.
But they had spicy sleep.
Yeah.
They did.
This lasted the entire month with her eventually breaking things off with me.
Oh!
Ooh.
After we got into an argument at the doctor's office, I spent the next 2 months trying to win her back, but she just continued to be condescending and short. Additionally, I may have pushed too hard with her and should have given more space and not asked to meet. Eventually, we began to only text on Mondays with updates on the baby only.
What a schedule.
I was fine with it, but always asked to speak with her about co-parenting our child, which is what you should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very fair. Very
Parenting,
good.
pull-up game, maybe not strong, but parenting game, stronger.
You know, daddy's doing good.
Yeah.
Daddy's doing good so far.
As the months went by, she became increasingly hostile towards me. And every time I would ask the baby how the baby was doing or if she needed anything, she would either not answer the questions or snap at me. Eventually, the updates became all is well, with no additional information, to no updates at all. I felt as if she was just hoping I would go away. I eventually filed for a paternity hearing to determine parental rights and visitation, knowing that she would leave me off the birth certificate and prevent me from seeing our daughter. Flash forward to November, our baby girl arrives, and she's a healthy 7.5 pounds. Of course, I did not find out about the birth until 4 days after she arrived.
Ooh, that's not great.
Oh my God.
That's not great.
Predictably, it then took a week to get a picture and another 4 weeks of begging to eventually meet her. Definitely see if you can file some sort of hearing, because she's going to fully leave you out.
Yeah, and also I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
don't you want any help? You know,
Yeah.
changing diapers. I don't know. It's like
No, she's
lot.
trying to leave OP out of everything.
golly.
Oh, when I finally got to hold her, she was the most precious thing ever. I was just in love with her and never wanted to put her down. She was my daughter. That's so lovely.
So cute.
We are now a week from our hearing, and her lawyer just submitted a counterclaim. Most of the points he contended were expected, but there was one counterclaim that threw me off. She's asking for a DNA test. I mean, if she was seeing other people.
Who's the daddy?
Yeah.
That's the question.
This has really twisted me. Is she admitting that she had been cheating on me? Is this a ploy by her lawyer to make things more difficult for me? I did call her out for this and even offered to take the test without a court order, but she played the lawyer card. I have suspected this for a while, but never wanted to say anything. Now that it's a possibility, I am desperate to find out immediately, but also frightened to know the truth. So that's where things stand now.
What is this off the hook catfish picture?
He could be off the hook.
But he doesn't want to be off the hook. He loves the baby.
Just go do it again.
He wants to be. He loves his little baby girl.
He wants to be on the hook.
The good baby daddy he wants to be.
I just wanted to vent, but if people are interested, I'll update. I should note that there is a lot more that I left out, but I wanted to be as concise as possible. Comment 1. Yeah, she does not know who the baby daddy is and is hoping it is not you so she can cut you out of her and her daughter's life. You should have been asking for that DNA test yourself. OP says, oh yeah, she definitely doesn't know and wants me out. I did ask my lawyer to ask for a DNA test, but for some reason she didn't. Might have been miscommunication and my certainty she was my child. Comment 2 says, don't think that you will get a better pullout game. There's always a chance for pregnancy with intimacy, and pulling out is the most likely to fail method. Yeah.
Talk to us, Riley.
There's the leaving it in. That's most likely to fail.
That's true.
That is true, Riley.
That is true. Your lawyer might be confused because you initially filed a paternity hearing to discuss visitation rights. Well, that's basically saying you're claiming the child without a DNA test. Given how little you two know each other, I recommend not doing this again, as you might find yourself on the hook for children of other men. What?
Huh?
When you communicate with your lawyer next, make sure to communicate the necessity of the DNA test. Opie says, I think you're right. Our primary focus was on arranging visitation as soon as possible. I mentioned DNA testing, but I also assured my lawyer that I was 99% certain she was my daughter. She must have assumed I didn't need it. I just spoke with my attorney, and the magistrate has ordered the DNA testing on the 19th after both parties agreed to it. The hearing will be postponed until the results are available. I'm usually cautious about spicy sleep, but I had already had 4 tequila shots, 5 beers, and a margarita. Whoa! That is...
the whole kit and caboodle.
That is, you drank the whole bar.
Yup.
I wasn't really thinking through the pros and cons at that moment. And there is an update.
Oh, God.
But we just got a lot of info.
We did.
What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts here are, number one, for sure, take the DNA test.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like at least he feels from like seeing her, like, okay, he feels confident that it's his daughter. And if it is indeed true, I also wonder, like, I'm kind of wondering, why does she not want him, like, to help at all? I mean, I get that she, like, hates him, but, like,
seems like she really does not like him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a unreliable narrator or what the case is, but, like, I'm like, hey, wouldn't you want some help?
I mean, we've read a lot of stories where, like, the mother of the child literally, like, leaves and the OP doesn't, or like the guy doesn't find out for years that he has this kid.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what she,
is trying to
do, except he already knows about it. So it's making it a little harder.
Yeah. It's hard to have the secret baby when the baby isn't a secret.
It's not a secret.
But yeah, I think he should definitely go for the DNA test and, essentially like go in court and be like, hey, I want a visitation rights to this baby, and maybe use some of her, like, their text calls, etc., as evidence in, like, hey, she seems to kind of like want to keep the baby away from me, but I have, in all of this evidence, I like want to be an involved father, and I want to be here, and I want to help, and see what the courts decide.
Hopefully,
fingers crossed.
But there is an update. We're going to see what these courts decide.
Let's get into it.
The DNA test had been done, and we are awaiting the results. In the meantime, the mother has allowed me to see the baby twice. That's crazy.
Dang, yeah.
Twice? The first instance was incredibly awkward. The mother and I only exchanged hellos, and she walked away and sat on the other side of the restaurant. She was like, baby. And then she walked around like all the way across and she's just staring at you. And the baby's like,
Go ahead. Go with the baby. I'm just sitting here.
here you go.
At a restaurant?
Take
Why
the
did
baby.
we meet at a park or something?
Yeah, why are we at a restaurant with a baby? Presumably like a newborn.
I want to eat, and we're going to go here.
Just like she's eating mac and cheese in the corner, just staring, glaring at OP. And the baby's just like, because it's a newborn. Can you even, how old is this
they
baby?
get sick?
Yeah, can't you like not bring babies around people for like a certain amount of time?
They got soft heads. I would know. My head got sculpted,
But also they just have like the immune systems and everything.
and they're gonna
How
get
long
sick.
has this been? Maybe it's like been a couple months. Maybe this baby's like, how old is this baby?
I feel like a few months old.
Yeah.
Job says, why do you think you can't take babies out? Isn't there like a period?
I
where
thought that
yours-
too.
Yeah,
I
it's
totally-
like,
It's
maybe
not
it's-
like in the law.
well, yeah, but like
Yeah, let me take my baby out to get diseased.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Jeez.
Oh, arrest me, officer. I'm taking my baby.
Hey, going outside's not that bad for a kid. They get
well, not
like,
outside.
immune
I'm talking like
systems.
at a restaurant. I'm just talking about outside. You should take a baby outside.
I was like, what? You don't want it to play in dirt and something?
Riley's gonna take his newborn baby to like a music festival
Yeah.
and just be like
And the
holding
baby's
it in
like-
the air, just like
Yep. They're gonna know
Yeah.
what little Uzi Vert sounds like.
Anyway, as I sat there holding the baby, I couldn't stop doubting that she was mine. I kept looking at her face and didn't see any of my features.
Uh-oh.
I was really heartbroken. That said, I still relished my time with her. Opie's like, I don't think this is my baby, but it is a cute baby.
yeah. Maybe he had like baby fever initially, and now he's seeing it.
The other thing that made the whole visit awkward, the mom brought a friend. A man friend.
Oh.
At first, I didn't think too much about the friend, but at one point I looked up and saw her face and instantly recognized her. She turned out to be a girl that had flirted with me at my gym 3 weeks after the mom and I broke up. At the time, I could tell that this friend was interested in me, but I cut off contact because I realized that I had too much going on to start pursuing girls.
I'm sorry, conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Mom planted her
Yeah.
at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but after they broke up is weird.
This
This woman might be trying to, get something on OP.
Yeah.
she seems a little
a
cuckoo for Cocoa
little
Puffs.
crazy.
Yeah.
The friend eventually left the gym, and I hadn't seen her again until that day. No one acknowledged the situation, but I feel it's safe to say that my ex found out about me talking to other girls right after we broke up. Well, I mean, like 3 weeks. Also, like, you just flirted with her at a gym.
What about 2 weeks?
I guess she found out like immediately, but then it took her that long to like plot and plan and actually, get something to hit,
Yeah.
Took a little time for her to get her minions together and,
She's like, I'm gonna catch him in the act of flirting with someone.
what is it, sleeper agents or whatever? She sent her sleeper agents out there
Exactly.
to sleep with him.
Oh!
Too smart. Can't catch Dawn off guard. I just saw the baby this morning and the feeling was completely different. I may be experiencing attentional bias, but she really did look like my daughter. Okay. Opie's
are-
like, yesterday, I think it was the lighting because she looked nothing like me. Today, totally different girl. She's got my nose now.
We're flip-flopping. I don't know what to believe yet.
I don't think you know.
Hmm.
She has the same eye shape and color to me, same hair color as well. I have to admit that this has given me hope that I am her father. You are flip-flopping. We just need this DNA test.
We need it. We need it ASAP.
At this point, I just have to wait for the results to arrive, but at least I have some hope now. I plan to give an update when everything clears up. And what do you think? Opie's dad or not?
Honestly,
Best guess.
I'm going to say no.
Mhm.
Going off of the fact of the mom was the one that ordered it, which leads me to believe that she is. I mean, why would you order it if it proves he's the father? That hurts your
Yeah,
case if you want to keep the
exactly.
baby. So I think she's like, I'm pretty positive that you're not the father. We get the DNA test and it's going to prove you're not, and therefore you're going to get nothing.
Yeah. Like maybe she's just like, he's not even the dad. Like, why does he keep sticking around? Maybe that's her mindset.
Maybe.
But there is a second update.
Oh,
So let's find out.
do it.
No one seems to be interested, but typing everything out is a little therapeutic. We're interested.
Hello.
The results finally came back last Wednesday. Everyone get your votes in.
Here we go.
Now, I don't think we were polling
Polling
this,
it, but hey, let's poll it.
poll it. Before I read it,
Is baby or not?
baby or nah?
Is it his or not?
I think it. What did you say?
I said no.
I'm gonna say it is his, just for sake of debate.
Keeping it interesting.
Yeah, keep it interesting.
I wonder if it is his because one, she's like, I don't want you around. But if it's the other baby daddy, who's going to be paying? Because like my thought is that the other guy's not paying. She's going to be like, oh yeah, it actually is yours. You should pay for it.
Well, it seems like he's like so ready to
He's
pay.
down.
He's like,
Yes.
I'm super down to be involved.
Mm.
I want this baby. He didn't even want the DNA test before. He was just like, I'll be in.
Literally. And do we know what this mystery man is going to do with the baby?
What's
like
his involvement? Maybe he just wants nothing to do with the baby, and the mom is like, that's what I want.
Also, if she's getting mad at OP for flirting with another girl like a few weeks after they broke up and she cheated on him with another man,
that's good points.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's not like 3 weeks he's flirted with another girl. Like,
Jail.
he's not doing anything.
Prison.
Prison.
Lock him up.
That said, after so many attempts to call my lawyer, the child support office, and the court to get the results, I kept being told that I would have to wait for them to be delivered by mail.
No waiting.
No, tell us.
Only answers now.
I want to know. My assumption, her mother knew as soon as Thursday, her lawyer told her. For context, she began being friendlier after it came to light that the baby's parentage was in question. Okay. I thought it was going to be like, she being friendlier when she knew.
So we're still, it's like,
We're still in the unknown, because basically she became friendlier because OP might be the father.
this is torturing.
On Thursday, I sent her a follow-up text from Monday on when and where I can see our daughter this week. I only get to see her for an hour weekly. She blew up on me about her boundaries and that she will tell me when and where on her own time. She wrote 2 paragraphs about her boundaries, but 1 sentence updating me on our daughter. I got to spend an hour with my daughter on Saturday morning, and honestly, I felt sadness and wondered if it was the last time I would ever see her. Her mother, on the other hand, was pretty hostile towards me. She made snide remarks about not being able to get her to stop crying after 20 seconds. Also snapped at me for letting her fall asleep. Like, how could I possibly know she wasn't supposed to sleep? She doesn't tell me much about our daughter. Finally,
Here we go.
after an excruciating 3 days, I got the results back.
Here we go.
Saturday night. And I am happy to say that she is my daughter.
Let's
Dang.
go.
They called
Give
it.
me my money. I won. Thanks.
There's your monies.
I'm going to put this in my pocket.
You win.
Man,
And
there you
lose.
go. And now you can go file for custody because
we
she's
go.
clearly not going to let you see your daughter.
And I guess she did change her tune a little bit when it was in question, so maybe she'll change her tune even more.
Even
now?
more? I hope so. I mean, it's going to suck if OP has to fight in the courts for custody.
Yeah, I would definitely give all those texts.
I mean, I think you should regardless, just because you don't want her to have the control that she has right now.
Yeah.
But there's more.
Ooh.
May have teared up a bit with joy. LOL. So at this point, with no more questions on who the father is, I'm going to ask for more time with her. I don't expect her to be agreeable, but it's worth a shot. I don't expect to have a parenting plan until April, so I will have to continue to be patient, but I will enjoy every moment that I have with my daughter. And there is another update.
Oh.
But yeah, I think right now it's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like OP is going through the courts, but I do think that you should.
Definitely. Yeah, we need to, with the history of you and the mom's interactions,
Yeah.
we need something locked down and legally binding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Update 3.
Here we go.
Not a ton has happened since my last update, but I'm feeling some anger and sadness. Uh-oh. Hopefully typing this out will help me process my feelings. Since my last update, we've been doing weekly hour visits at a local Panera, always at the restaurants.
Always gotta
The
be getting
baby's,
food.
can the baby even eat any of that food?
And also, where was he gonna crawl on the dirty Panera floors?
Yeah,
Like,
what is this baby? Like, you put the baby in like a little like chair and the baby's just like,
He needs space to baby.
yeah.
Baby space.
Well, she's a baby.
She
Daughter baby.
daughter baby.
Daughter baby
Excuse me.
needs space to baby.
That's right.
You can't have space to baby at a Panera. What is this baby supposed to eat? What do they serve at Panera?
What? Yeah. You want to put her in a
Bread?
bread bowl?
You want to put
You
her in a
frickin'
bread
animal?
bowl?
Come on.
Unbelievable.
That would be cute though.
That would be cute.
Just saying.
Like when they put babies in pumpkins.
Yes, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
As much as I love spending time with my daughter, an hour a week at a restaurant is not enough, and it's awkward trying to bond with her in such a public place. I will take anything that I can at this point. Her mother and I tend to keep things civil, if not cold. Communication between us is kept at a minimum. We simply say hello and goodbye and move about our day. On the legal side, yes, this is what I wanted to know.
Here we go.
We had our status conference 2 weeks ago. Prior to the conference, I asked my ex if I could get more time with our daughter that was not at a restaurant. She responded that she had several concerns with me caring for her and needed to consult her attorney. This set my attorney and I into a panic. My attorney grilled me to find something that she may try and use against me. She examined all of our texts and emails and couldn't find anything that my ex could use against me, but to relax. Honestly, I couldn't help but think my ex would try and falsely accuse me of something like abuse or violence. No, I have not been violent towards her. Heck, I've never yelled or cussed at her. I'll try to be as concise as possible with the cliff notes of what was relayed to me by my attorney of the conference, as relayed to me by my attorney. Her attorney started requesting that we keep the weekly visits at Panera or somewhere similar for 1-hour visits. My concern was that our daughter cried a couple times when I was holding her during our visits, that I can't be trusted to be a good caregiver to her due to this. The magistrate shot that excuse down immediately. Wait, okay. So it seems that it's not OP's concern. It seems that they were saying that their parenting concern was that every time that OP held his daughter, she would cry.
Yeah.
Which is a stupid reason because OP's only allowed to see her once a week. Of course, this baby doesn't really feel like she knows him.
She's like, who the heck are you, you
She's
strange
like,
man?
Who is this man who keeps holding me up a Panera?
Yeah, you're not my mama.
You're not my mom.
I come here and there's bread bowls and a strange man. What else am I supposed to do?
They hand me off to a man for an hour and he just stares at me. I don't get it.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm your daddy.
But also, even if this baby cried every time he held her, that's what babies do.
They just be crying, bro.
That's what they cry all the time. That's like they eat and they sleep and they cry.
You're not a baby if you don't cry.
Truly. Honestly, it's a bad sign if you're not crying. That's what they say.
That's what they say. I've heard that too.
Stating that there is no possible way to judge a parent, how a parent can care for their child in a restaurant, and that only giving myself an hour a week is not acceptable. Literally telling her attorney that my ex was being unreasonable. They also claimed that I never contributed to medical bills while we were together and accused me of being a disappearing act.
False.
OP literally filed for parental rights.
Yes. He has been trying.
Yep.
Calling you.
Bro wasn't trying to get the milk. He was trying to get with the baby.
He was trying to bring milk to the baby.
That's right.
We were prepared for that argument and had literal receipts. The text messages, Venmo payments made it very clear that I not only paid half of the bills while we were together, but continued to ask for bills after we broke up. All of the while, she would lie and tell me that there were no bills. The magistrate once again chastised her attorney again, this time for lying. Is there no, lying fees? You know, aren't we in a court of law? Don't you have to tell the truth?
Yeah, because I think they have to give all the, maybe not in this civil case or whatever, but I thought they had to give all the evidence beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's like the other lawyer could read all the texts because he can't claim oh, I'm just going off what you told me. Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
It's no.
We got the receipts, buddy.
We then made our case for me to have more time and my ultimate goal to have my daughter 50-50. The magistrate was impressed with everything that I had done, taking parenting classes, going to therapy, moving closer to her mother, etc. That said, she only granted me 4 hours on Sundays for the next month.
Dang.
That's ridiculous.
That
is ridiculous. I'm sorry. OP has, from the get-go, been trying to be so involved in his child's life, and it's just been denied and denied and denied.
And you know what? I can get hey, the baby's used to this home.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something about you take a baby to a strange environment that freaks them out. But this just seems so such little time.
This is not even I feel like most times it's like, oh, this person gets weekends or something. You know, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
4
yeah.
hours on a Sunday.
Like if anything, like why not the whole day to help the baby like get used to him, or like sprinkled throughout the week or something, so the baby kind of recognizes. I don't know, something like that. I'm no baby expert,
But you would think.
one would.
It isn't what I wanted, but the silver lining is I was given a pathway to be a 50-50 parent to her, and that has given me hope for the future.
Okay.
Now to today. As of now, the court order has not been uploaded to the docket, thus not making it legally binding yet. So I still have to beg my ex to see my daughter. What is this? What is this court system? This is ridiculous. I'm so angry for you, OP.
Yeah.
I mean, you have been doing everything. Literally everything from the start to be a good dad.
It's so clear that he wants to
Be
be
a father.
involved. He's sending the child support. He's like, hey, what bills you got? How can I pay for it? Hey, can I watch the baby?
Yeah,
Like,
can I see the baby? Can I hang out with the baby?
it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear.
This morning, I got to see my daughter once again at a Panera.
Dude, stop it.
Honestly, you know what? The Panera should file for parenting rights at this point.
The baby has more recognition of
a Panera.
Panera bread than her own father.
It was mostly great. She was laughing and cooing so much.
Eating bread.
She was eating bread. She was so much fun. As I was enjoying my daughter, my ex was sitting at another table with 2 girlfriends, talking loudly and laughing hysterically. I don't hold judgment, but honestly, I found them all annoying. Yeah, well, they suck because they've been holding you from your daughter. So,
That's right.
mind you, she was always bringing a friend during these visits, and I come alone. It normally doesn't bother me, but for some reason, I couldn't stand any of them. I literally wanted to yell at them to shut up, but bit my tongue. As the hour went along, my daughter began to get tired and a little cranky. I tried to calm her down, but she began crying loudly, and I noticed some wheezing.
Oh, no.
I was a little concerned and wondered if she had been sick. So I walked up to the cackling table and asked my ex if she was sick. She stated no, but maybe if I walked around and bounced her, she would calm down. I simply said, okay, thanks. She then asked me if I needed anything else, and I said no and started to walk away. With a snarky tone, she snapped back at me that I needed to cut the attitude out and that she was trying to help. Lady sucks.
Look.
I turned around and told her that I wasn't giving her attitude and that I came over to simply ask her a question because I wanted to help. She then, to my complete shock, told me that we need to communicate better if we're going to be good co-parents.
Facts. I agree with that.
And then OP, you go, yeah,
Yeah. We do need to communicate better. But who's going to help us do that?
who's going to do that? It's so funny because communication is a two-way street.
Yep.
And then you go, that's a great idea,
Yep.
mother of my child.
Mhm.
Let's start with letting me see my daughter more. Let's start with you responding to my texts and telling me what's going on with my daughter.
That's right. It's a two-way street off the intersection of Randolph and Park Hill.
I stood there with my jaw dropped. For the last 10 months, I have repeatedly asked, no, begged her to meet or call to discuss how we were going to co-parent together, only to be shot down each time as she always claimed that I was crossing her boundaries. Needless to say, I just gave her a, are you being serious look? Said, I agree, and walked away. Lovely.
Oh!
Mic drop.
Crushing it.
The rest of my time with my daughter was kind of sullied at this point. But your life will never be sullied if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story.
Wow.
Do you have any final thoughts?
I just feel for the dad, man. And, I hope that we can, stop sullying
Stop sullying.
the relationship.
Stop
with
hitting
this
those
baby.
birds and doing a water landing.
Yeah, don't do that. We need to land smoothly from the air as designed, as it was intended to be. I think keep going the course, keep collecting
Yeah.
receipts. I don't know, like can we hey, I'll record our little play date visit, Panera visit things?
I think they might have some quandaries against recording a baby.
Yeah, I don't know, but
don't
whatever
feel like
legal and ethical ways you can do to collect receipts to show your innocence and investedness in
Yes.
fatherhood, do that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think just like keep doing what you're already doing.
Yes.
You have been putting in the work. You have been like saying, I want to see our daughter. I want to communicate with you. So just like keep showing that dedication. And obviously like it's really tough. It's super tough.
Yes.
And it's really draining, I can imagine. But you are doing a great job. Don't let the baby mama, push you out just by sheer force of will and her exhausting you.
Yeah.
Like fight, just keep up that fight. Because seems like you're trying to be a great dad.
Yeah. And you know what? As much as it sucks, progress is being made.
Yeah.
There's a path to 50-50. He has more time now. So yeah, just keep the course.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice.
But there is a little bit left to the story.
Okay.
Luckily, she had fallen asleep as this had been going down between her mother and I. This lasted until I handed her over to her mother. Since then, I have been fuming over my ex gaslighting me into thinking I have been the one not working with her. I get it. She finally got the message that she needs to work with me, and the courts don't look kindly to alienation. Still, it shouldn't take a court order to get to that point. The court order should go into effect this week, and I can finally spend quality time with my daughter. Honestly, I cannot wait. That's it for now. And there are some comments. Comment 1, this is a dad determined to be a real father.
Facts.
I'm sure many children would want him as a father. Very true.
Yes.
Comment 2, great job working with a difficult situation to see your daughter. 2 quick suggestions. Use a parenting app for communication. It keeps track of all the text messages and can be submitted to a judge.
Oh.
When you're getting your 4-hour Sunday afternoons, you might want to have a neutral third party in the background during your visit alone with your child, so that you have a witness to your interactions in case she makes any more claims.
Smart.
She did this once, and luckily the judge saw through it, but when you go to increase custody after you prove yourself with the Sundays, you might need it. OP says, thanks. To your points, we will be required to download a family app once the court order is submitted. I have it already, but her mother has yet to download it. I have thought about this and bought a GoPro to record my time with her.
He's gonna.
Wait, that's so funny. He's got like the headgear
Yeah.
GoPro on, and the baby also has a GoPro on, of course.
Yeah. Baby GoPro.
Yeah. And it's just hours and hours of a baby in a Panera.
Dude, can we live stream that?
Please. Baby in Panera live stream.
Oh.
Hey, it's me and my baby back at it again, doing an eat the menu in Panera.
That's right.
I also have a couple female friends that have volunteered to hang out when I have her alone. I don't particularly trust my ex. I wonder why. But that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Josephine says the baby version of the cat collar GoPro. Yeah, well, you know those videos with the
yes.
cats and they're like wandering through houses and stuff? Yeah, the baby's just going like, and
All
it's like a
through
video
Panera?
of like their hands
Yeah.
in a bread bowl.
Yeah.
Ming Ming says, I can't imagine 4 hours in a Panera.
Yeah, I think the first red flag is going to Panera.
Yeah, and the first 1 through 10 red flags are going to Panera.
Totally. Also, I am praying that this episode is used as evidence in courts.
Oh my
because
God,
that
yes.
would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be
OP.
great.
Please let us know,
OP,
OP.
use us in court.
Yeah. We're here to
We're
fight for
on
you.
your side.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what the hell? It says, so are the 4-hour Sundays going to still be at a Panera? Yes. I think they've already said they're going to do 4 hours at the Panera.
We've got to change
Unless
this.
I'm mistaken, which hopefully I am. Hopefully you can do it in a park. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a park outside the Panera, but let's venture outside.
Please.
Man, oh man. But that's the end of that story.
But is there one more?
There is one more.
Ha! Why don't we get into it, boys and girls?
I'm considering having a baby with my friend, but it's complicated.
That sounds complicated.
I know this sounds crazy, but please read the whole post. I am a widow. I lost my husband a little over 3 years ago. It's a really long story for another post, but we had been trying to have a baby together before he passed. That is sad. By the way, this comes from Small Shops, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my best friend, who I'll call Chris, was my husband's best friend. We were good friends when my husband was still there, but we bonded a lot after his passing. Chris is also a widow, although his wife passed away before I knew him. Having been through what I was going through and also losing his best friend, we really leaned on each other the last few years for love and support. We are best friends now, and I don't know what I would do without them. I feel like a huge part of my life is empty. I feel a visceral need to have a baby. I know I sound crazy. When I lost my husband, it also felt like I lost the life we didn't get to have together, like I lost the baby we were trying for and the family we could have been. Oh, I want nothing more in life than to be a mother. It's always something I wanted for myself, something I've always looked forward to. I know there's a big child-free lifestyle community here in Reddit, so this may be difficult to relate for some, but it's what I want for myself. I'm educated, I'm very successful in my career, I'm financially stable, I'm ready for the next chapter in my life. I know I could just go to the baby juice bank or adopt and raise a baby myself, but I would really prefer my child to have a father the old-fashioned way. I grew up with the most amazing dad, and I don't want to purposely bring a child into the world without a father that will love him like my dad loved me. I know I could wait around until I meet the right guy, but that isn't something I'm certain is in the cards for me.
Maybe the right guy was
Right
your
in front of
husband's
you.
best friend all along.
Yeah, maybe the right guy was your husband's right-hand guy.
Sure.
Well, last week, Chris and I got together, had a few drinks.
Ooh.
I see yous in the chat. Put some I see yous. Ooh. And I opened up to him about how badly I wanted to be a parent.
She's like,
And he-
I want to be a parent so bad.
Right now. Put a baby in me, Chris.
I'd honestly be a parent with anybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, the person across the table
The
from
first
Yeah.
male I see,
Mm-hmm.
parent.
He shared the same feelings with me. So, Chris.
Oh man,
Oh, man. It's going to get hot and bothered.
Ooh-wee.
It was so nice to talk with someone who I can really relate to, and he feels the exact same way as I do, like he is missing a huge part of his life. He said, we should have a baby together. He said in a half-jokingly way at first, but it grew from there.
Nah,
We're not-
just like a baby.
Again, we're not talking about the
No.
baby. We're talking about something else
Yeah.
that grew from there.
Oh.
And now we're seriously considering it.
No, you both were seriously considering it. You just were like, wouldn't it be crazy
would be so
if we had a
crazy.
baby together?
Right? I mean,
It's-
And then
it wouldn't be
he's
that
like-
crazy. I mean,
He's
like,
yeah, that would be so.
it would be so crazy. But like,
Yes.
we've been such good friends. Like, you know, we could do it, but like, we shouldn't because
you're so
it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, but people do it all the time.
yeah.
People do it all the like. I know Sally that just did it. I mean, they're crazy.
They're crazy,
but like not that much crazier than us. Like, I mean, like
we could be crazy.
we could be crazy. I mean, we have been crazy before. Like, I mean, do you want to be crazy?
Let's do it.
I know Chris would be an amazing dad. I am trying to look at it objectively, but obviously it's a very emotionally charged topic. As I see it, the worst case scenario is that we share custody of the child, but the child has two parents who love him or her. It's no different than a divorced couple with a kid. We're both well off, and we can afford a great lawyer to write a rock-solid parenting agreement for us. The best case scenario is we raise the child together as a team. We all practically live together, have the same parenting views and the same morals in general. I could go on forever why we think it's a good idea. What is your opinion? Am I completely crazy for considering this?
I don't think so.
We have some relevant comments. We got an update, but chats,
People have children for worse reasons.
so many reasons. But the TLDR of this, two widowed best friends support each other through loss, considering having a baby together due to a mutual desire for parenthood and a longing to share that with a co-parent.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that.
Is this going to turn romantic?
I think so. I think
How could
so.
it not?
Has
How
to.
could it not?
I think it's on that way. I think the fact that they even are considering, they both had the same idea.
They're baby
Mhm.
crazy.
They
yeah.
both had the same idea, and they're not even a little bit into each other.
Miss Woozy says, I'm sure he is a rock solid proposition for her.
Oh.
Well, we got some relevant comments. Not Bad Advice says, OP, to me, it's clear. You are asking for permission to love Chris romantically. The baby is a pretext. You have it. There is nothing your husband would have wanted more for you to be happy. And what better way than loving someone who was also so important to him? Put your guilt aside and start a true relationship with Chris. Not only will you not regret it, it will ensure you honor your husband's memory together forever. Every time that you and Chris embrace in loving
Don't.
in a loving embrace under the sheets together, I want you to call out your passed away husband's name just to make sure he feels included.
Just try to picture that.
Oh,
say his name?
Yeah,
Actually, I
dude.
guess it's-
Say his name together. It can be a
That's
fun little thing,
wild.
a little bonding thing. Anyway, Kiri Girl says, OP, look at how many people have upvoted this post and agree with the statement. You and Chris want the same things. You like each other enough to have supported and loved each other through very difficult things. You've done things that married couples sometimes don't make it through. That speaks huge of your relationship. Get together, make beautiful babies, and create a wonderful life together. We love that. We love
There
that.
we go.
We love that. That is so cute. That is so
Gotta
cute.
love.
And Drew Mighty says, why not date and try making a baby together? Are your feelings non-romantic? I mean, you want to raise a baby with him. That says something right there. Why did you feel guilty? And OP responds, all right, well, it's not that I haven't considered it, but it would just feel wrong. We actually kissed once, but I felt so guilty about it. When did you kiss? Did you kiss when he was alive?
No. This is post for sure.
I hope so.
This is
I hope
post
so.
for sure, but she felt guilty because of her husband's deceasement.
Kimberly Fine says it gets worse.
No.
Oh, no.
Why would-
We're only halfway through.
mean?
We're
What
only
do you mean it
halfway
gets
through.
worse?
Kimberly Fine says it gets
What
worse.
do you mean? I'm happy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We kissed once. When? When did you kiss once?
No, after.
When did you kiss once?
No.
Oh, man. It just doesn't feel right. I felt like I was betraying my husband.
Yeah. Post. This was after he was passed.
Update. After reading everyone's comments, I was feeling really conflicted. So I told Chris, what?
All the comments were saying, "Go for it, girl."
I didn't think we could move forward with having a baby together until I knew whether or not we'd ever be together as a couple.
Read the next
Okay.
sentence. Read the next
Okay.
sentence.
He told me he was just waiting for me to be ready. And then we had spicy sleep. So I'm ready.
Ooh.
There we
He
go.
was like, literally whatever you want, girl. She was like,
Sow
"I
that
want a
seed,
baby." He was
Chris.
like, yes.
I know I said that I felt guilty when we kissed, but I didn't mention that that was 2 years ago. I expected to still feel guilty, but I don't. I just feel really happy. We both have been off work the last couple of days, so we've been spending 100% of our time together. It's so nice being with him. Been a long time coming.
Oh, gee, even with the head. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
OP's funny.
Oh, yeah.
He's got jokes.
Opie's got jokes, and she's got that seed inside her.
Oh.
Both jokes and seed.
What am I gonna do with you?
As for having a
You're
baby together,
wild.
speaking of seed, we both still really want to do that. But now we have to figure out how that fits into us having a romantic relationship. The responsible thing would probably be to wait. I don't know, a few years. It's been really hard to actively prevent against something that we want to happen. So we're not really being as careful as we should be. We're doing it raw. Any advice? I'm feeling like I can't think straight about it. I can already tell it's going to be hard to take it slow. We live together. We both own our own homes, but he is renting his out now. I work from home. He only works a couple of days a week, so we spend a ton of time together. We were already living like a couple that just didn't have spicy sleep, and now we are.
There was
you
so much
boinkin'.
tension. You have no
Oh,
idea how
man.
the tension.
I need a
Oh.
book about this
Yeah.
ASAP.
Well, so I'm not sure how to take it slow or if we should even bother. Also, I don't know how to tell my parents what's going on or if I should tell them at all. They don't like that I'm friends with Chris or any of my husband's other friends and would be even more upset to know that we're together now. They want me to distance myself as much as possible from my old life, as they call it, and express their disappointment about my failure to do so every time I speak to them. By the way, you should never fail to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update.
Ooh-wee.
But let's discuss. What do we think, Sophia? Do you think this is a good move for them to get together?
I think so. I think they're all doing the right thing. I think also that it seems like they've at least had some sort of feelings for about 2 years. So it doesn't feel necessarily like intensely rushed. They've been living together.
Yeah. Wait. Also,
Yeah.
when did the husband pass away? Can you look at that,
I
Keon?
don't know.
Because the kiss was 2 years ago.
I don't know when.
Angela Connolly says 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So 3 years.
Okay,
Husband
so
passed away.
a year after the passing.
Okay,
they
that's
kiss.
okay.
I think it's fine.
I think that's okay.
Like one
That's fine.
kiss, and she felt super guilty and didn't do anything after
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. When my husband passed away, my mom went behind my back and told my in-laws that I requested they keep their distance from me, and it makes me depressed to talk to them. Not true, by the way. I felt more depressed not talking to them. And although I found out the truth much later, we barely talk now because we weren't there for each other when we needed to. That's messed up.
Wow.
Relevant comments. Moonlighter says, first off, congrats. Second, as far as your mom goes, you might need to do some serious reflection. Is she the kind of person you want in your child's life at all? We obviously don't know the full story, but she is not supportive and has done some bad things in the past. Thirdly, I know you said it's hard to take it slow, but I still think you should. Maybe you don't wait a few years, but I don't know about rushing into this. There really isn't any rush at all. You're hopefully going to be together for a long time. You aren't that old, so you're not pushing the age aspect of pregnancy yet. I just think it would be a good idea to get some birth control and revisit the issues in a few months after things have settled down. Opie responds, I can't imagine not having her in my life, but she has been really, really crap to me in the past. Our family is pretty close though, so if I stop talking to her, it would be hard on everyone. And Deleted says, are you sure that there isn't a knee knucklehead reaction to the onslaught of people in the last post telling you not to have a baby? Because in the last post, you kept saying he was just a friend, you weren't interested in him romantically, and now suddenly, bam, we are a couple. If this is real romance, great, congratulations, but I really can't stress enough that you should get into counseling to talk through this because you seem to be allowing yourself to be guided by strong emotions and speak a lot of not being able to go slow. About being confused, about feeling like you can't think straight, that's not the mindset of someone who should be making huge life decisions. Please get into counseling. What do you think about that, Fia?
Boring.
I want love.
Boring.
I want
You sound like
baby.
you hate love. Give me baby. Or give me death.
Oh wow.
No, just
I
kidding.
think you should explore the thing romantically for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should go straight to baby.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But jump into that relationship, man.
Jump in that relationship. Yeah. I mean, like do the relationship for a year, see how you feel, and then
Yeah.
later. And OP responds, hi, you accidentally posted 4 times. It's not a knee knucklehead reaction. People were asking me why we weren't together, and I didn't really have an answer for them. I knew that I didn't want to have a kid with him if I wasn't completely certain I didn't have feelings for him, because that would be a recipe for disaster. And when I told him that, he told me that he's just been waiting for me to be ready for the last 2 years, my initial thought was, why did it take so long to tell him this? Because we could have been together a long time ago, and I am seeing a therapist, and that's where that ends.
Woo!
Whoa!
Go get that baby.
Go get that baby.
Baby.
It seems like it kind of went okay.
I think everything's fine.
Everything kind of went
I think
fine.
everything's okay.
Pretty sick. We got a happy ending.
Yeah.
My friend became financially reliant on me, and so I cut him off.
Cut him off.
So I, 30 male, met my best friend, 31 male, when we were both in a summer care program as kids, ages 8 and 9. Aw, we'll call him Kevin. We bonded through mutual interests, cartoons, video games, etc., and became thick as thieves over the years. When his father passed away a few years later, I made sure to check on him multiple times a day for weeks because I knew he was devastated. I considered him to be like a brother to me. By the way, this comes from Hephaestus1717 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So fast forward to the end of high school, and Kevin is struggling to find a career path to pursue while everyone else is preparing to leave for college or finalizing plans for trade school or military service. By the time I'm in college, he finally has a part-time job at a local mechanics and is still living with his mother. I know that living with your parents is nothing to be ashamed of. I lived with mine all through college as a commuter student, but it seemed that Kevin wasn't trying. I'd seen Kevin and his mom fighting over this very issue, like about moving out of the house.
Mm.
When I started dating my girlfriend in college, contact between me and Kevin began to dissipate, due in part to a combination of my increased school schedule, work schedule, and dating life. Part of losing touch was also due to his asking multiple questions about my girlfriend and our relationship that were pretty intrusive and borderline inappropriate.
Not cool, Kevin. Not cool.
Kevin's being a little basement dweller.
Kevin.
Well, fast forward another couple of years, and I proposed to my girlfriend.
Ooh.
And she graciously agrees to be my fiance. Congrats. So cute. We
Very
love
exciting.
love. We love love. I immediately went to ask Kevin if he would be the best man under the impression that we were still close friends, even without that much communication. He agreed, but despite saying that he would be honored, everything about the man's body language and communication skills indicated the exact opposite, almost like it was a punishment. Kevin's like, I'm not into this thing. I want to go.
Oh, Kevin doesn't want to be best man?
Kevin's saying he wants to be best man, but he's not acting like
he
it.
wants to be best man.
Yeah, he's being an okay man at the very best, not a best man at the very okay.
Well, then take that as a sign and don't have him be best man.
Yeah. Well,
Easy.
I let it go because I just assumed there was something else going on that I wasn't privy to. Fast forward again, a little over a year. I'm out eating dinner and discussing wedding plans with my fiance and future mother-in-law. And right as the food comes out, I get a call from Kevin. Naturally, I step outside to take the call. Kevin can't wait. Now, Kevin had started dating this girl we'll call Karen roughly 3 months before I get the call. Kevin proceeds to tell me that he and Karen had literally just gotten married.
Whoa. What?
Kevin moves fast.
You just found out about this girl, Karen?
They call him Quick Kevin. While I'm not necessarily opposed to the notion of fast-moving relationships, going from single to married in roughly 100 days is hasty. I think so too, especially when he's never been in a relationship before. This screamed that he just wanted to be in a relationship and was all but confirmed when he said that the reason they got married was because he was tired of his mom talking trash about Karen, which naturally escalated after they got married. So basically, he's like, I'm going to show you, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how much I love Karen. Bam!
Marriage.
A couple weeks later, I went to Kevin's apartment for some forgotten reason and was able to meet Karen. This proved to be a very unpleasant interaction, as Karen's first topic of conversation around someone she's never met was to trauma dump her previous relationships and describing in vivid detail while these former partners should be incarcerated. Too much, Karen.
This is Karen.
Karen's trauma dumped in immediately.
And there are spaces in which
Kevin then would try to not so subtly imply how great their marriage is by verbally illustrating their clear throat alone time together.
Karen and Kevin need to learn about boundaries. They need to learn when you should tell people things and when you should not tell people things.
Yeah, this is a weird combo. I think your
Weird.
friend's a little weird, OP.
Why do you want him to be your best man?
You know,
You've got to have other friends.
you gotta have other friends. When she finally met my fiance, the first instinct Karen had was to immediately dump all her trauma as bluntly as possible
Oh, she's
to
done it
her.
again.
After we left, my fiance and I agreed that Karen was coming off as incredibly immature and a bit of an attention seeker. A little bit much, Karen. My fiance immediately disliked her bits. I, being denser than granite, wasn't willing to acknowledge any kind of dislike for her just yet. Because OP's just trying to, I don't know, smooth things over, you know?
Yeah.
He's trying to be present as present as he can be.
Well, I just think that Kevin and Karen they keep pushing past these boundaries, especially with like now talking to OP's wife about all of that, or sorry, OP's fiance about this.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. I think like sometimes people I think there are some times when you meet a new friend where you just start telling like it just happens where you feel comfortable and you start talking about like
Yeah.
the trauma per se. But sometimes you're like in it. Like I've had these situations where like sometimes you're just like having a conversation and then they're like, and then this happened when I was a child.
And
you're
I'm like,
oh,
I don't know. We were.
oh,
I,
I
don't know,
didn't think we were that close.
we were doing that.
Okay. And it just makes you just got to be careful about who and when and how you are talking about things that are, especially just like things where, that might be triggering to people. It's like putting a trigger warning.
Well,
but for a conversation.
My fiance immediately disliked her bit. Being dense to granted, I wasn't willing to acknowledge any kind of dislike for her just yet. Fast forward once again, the day before my wedding, as we're all getting everything ready. We invited the entire wedding party, as well as some close family, to come and help with the setup. Of the bridal party, only my fiance's maid of honor was able to come, as the matron of honor had volunteered to bake our wedding cake, as well as an ever-busy mother of 3, and her other bridesmaids, my sister, had class until later in the day. Of my groomsmen, one was able to get off work for both the wedding day and the day before, while the other, we'll call him Jack, just showed up before most of our families to get started. Kevin, on the other hand, refused to make the 30-minute drive because of rain. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
And it's probably 30 minutes because of it.
Yeah. Ugh. A few weeks later, he let it slip that he was just lounging around all day.
Dude, I think we've proven, since day one that Kevin is not best man material. We just got to move on.
I feel like
He's
like
trying
Kevin
to
is
make-
oldest friend, but not
Not his
necessarily
best friend.
best friend.
The thing is, I
They
feel like
don't
we're
necessarily
trying
always coincide.
We're trying to use a fork for a soup,
And Kevin is that fork.
Yeah, Kevin's the fork.
Kevin's that
and your
fork.
wedding is the soup.
And your wedding, yeah, exactly. I've never heard that before, and
Thank
I love
you.
that.
I just came up with that right now.
Well, it's great.
It might be an already established one, but
Well, once they got there, things only got more stressful. Kevin and Karen showed up about 30 minutes late for the rehearsal and immediately started trying to make changes. The biggest argument was over the exiting procession. The original procession order was for each groomsman to escort the corresponding bridesmaid out of the church's sanctuary down the central aisle. Kevin refused to escort the matron of honor out because, according to him, it would look like they were a couple instead of him and Karen. Kevin, do you understand how weddings work? Groomsman and bridal party person, matron of honor and best man, they walk down the aisle together. No one thinks that they're smooching,
Kevin.
except maybe some 5-year-olds, which you sound like right now.
Yeah, you sound like a 5-year-old, Kevin. But also, OP, how much more proof do you need?
Yeah, this guy is not great. You're
like, I feel less bad for you if you keep getting
keep
proof.
keep putting your just get the spoon.
You're stabbing at the bowl and it's
Right
not
now,
working.
you're like, oh, why can't I eat any of this soup? And this is good soup. They both tried to push Kevin to walk off the stage alone and retrieve Karen from the front row and escort his wife out of the sanctuary. And in case it wasn't abundantly clear, Karen was not a member of the bridal party. At least he made one good decision so far. After stating that this was not going to be a viable option, Kevin refused to participate. We finally settled on a single file procession order where it was one groomsman followed by one bridesmaid and repeated until the entire wedding party had made their exit. This argument and the ensuing frustration prompted my fiance to tell the photographer we hired to make sure Kevin wasn't in any pictures, even in the background. Kevin only got a pass because he was still my best man. It also pissed me off that the two of them started packing up all of the leftover catering from the rehearsal dinner and took it home without so much as asking.
Wait, I'm sorry. They showed up with freaking like containers?
Yeah, Tupperware. And they're like, yeah, we're going to take this. Waste not, want not.
We don't believe in wasting food, so we're going to take it before you even have a chance to eat it.
This is nuts. This is nuts. Oh my, and
These
also
people have no social cues.
They changed the whole wedding procession
Yeah.
of the rehearsal because Kevin's being a weirdo.
Kevin's a freaking weirdo.
Kevin's a freaking weirdo.
Just like go, like presumably, I don't know, maybe not, but like I'm presuming that you have multiple groomsmen.
Yeah.
Just Kevin's back of the line.
Yeah.
You know?
Back of the line. Well, the next morning, Kevin and Karen ran late again. They once again tried to push for their procession order, which we immediately denied. My fiance told her bridesmaids and family that Karen was not allowed in the room and that she could go wait in the sanctuary. Karen didn't want to wait there because she felt she was being rejected and purposely separated from her husband. Her words, probably to go smooch the matron of honor.
This is terrible.
Well, as an overly generous compromise to avoid starting unnecessary drama, we allowed her to stay in the groomsmen's room to be near Kevin. The worst part was when it came time to get ready for the ceremony, she refused to step outside while we changed. She wanted to see everyone getting out of their blouses. I know, believe me, I know. As a recovering people pleaser, I'll admit that back then I had virtually no backbone. Today, I wouldn't hesitate to her and Kevin from the wedding entirely. However, I was too afraid of derailing the wedding and upsetting my already stressed out fiance, so she stood in the corner and covered her eyes as we all changed and got dressed. I have since apologized profusely to the other two groomsmen. They were graciously understanding of my position. So she's just watching through her eyes while all these guys are changing. This is wild.
Ah, man. Them out.
I feel like Kevin needs to be out. I'm wondering why we've had
so much Kevin
and so much leniency for Kevin.
Too much
Kevin leniency.
Much Kevin leniency.
I think we need the Kevin Inquisition.
We need to impeach Kevin.
Well, we also had a no phone policy that was clearly posted at the door. Despite this, Karen had her phone out the entire time, taking pictures and scrolling through social media.
Oh,
After
taking
a few
pictures
months,
of you guys dressing?
Kevin starts to message me about his mom. He says she was starting to them and even ran up to Kevin's job and causing a scene, resulting in him losing his job.
Oh, Lord.
Karen made Kevin lose the job.
Shocking.
This woman is toxic. She's terrible. It is important to keep in mind that Kevin would leave work repeatedly with little to no notice to go home to be with Karen whenever she called, even in one instance when she said she just missed him. My advice was for Kevin to tell his mom that he chose to marry Karen and tell her that if she can't respect that, she should either keep it to herself or he would go no contact. I also advised him that he is scheduled to work. He needs to stay at work unless it is an emergency. And Kevin elected to avoid and ignore my advice.
Oh my God. What? Kevin ignored your advice?
Again, I'm like, why are we keeping this guy around?
Are we shocked?
We're not shocked.
Are we shocked at all?
We're not shocked.
No.
Kevin is repeatedly terrible.
Kevin just keeps Kevining.
But let's keep going. The Kevin lore does not stop. Kevin neglected to ignore my advice. As the years progressed, Kevin and I grow more distant. Thank God. During this stint, we both saw our fair share of job changes. However, while my jobs progressively saw improvement and promotion, Kevin would call me every few months or so to tell me that he either quit or was fired from another job because of either family drama, chronic absenteeism, or because he felt like his supervisors were out to get him.
Oh,
To this, I would repeat the advice I had given to him before again and again and again. And during all of this, Karen never worked, so Kevin was the sole income for them with whatever he had earned. And adding insult to injury, Kevin barely did anything to help around the apartment, even after she had given birth to their daughter.
my God, they have a kid?
Why do you have a kid with two people that can't do nothing?
Why are two children having kids?
Yeah, I mean, they are babies. They're babies.
Babies.
Little babies that can't do crap. Again, like, I feel like Kevin has overstayed his welcome in your life?
Yes. I mean, like, what does Kevin offer to you?
He
Offers Kevin.
He offers Kevin.
He offers pain.
He
He offers
Kevin
you a
and-
Reddit story.
He offers you
That's about it.
stress.
Yeah.
and
Hey,
Kevin.
and you know what? Though that's worth more than gold. Well, eventually, the three of them had to move out because they couldn't afford it. Eventually, Karen's grandparents paid for a condo for them in exchange for rent. And by this time, my wife and I had bought our house and had been living in it for some time. Meanwhile, the cycle of Kevin needing advice on dealing with his mom and family drama continued. His unstable employment status also proved to be rocky as ever. And when the pandemic hit, my wife was furloughed and my hours were reduced from 40 a week to 8. Some money was tight. While the situation with our jobs only lasted for about a month or so, the sudden drop off of income was enough to set us back and really forced us to stretch the value of $1, which Kevin would know nothing of. Because Kevin is Kevin. Kevin would continue to call me asking for the same scriptive advice and even started asking to borrow money to help get by once he was once again employed. Again, Karen is the soul out of Kevin.
And Kevin the soul out of me.
That is true.
Freaking
There's a lot
Dementor.
of
Dementor.
here.
There's a lot of,
He's
there's
a
too
freaking
much.
Dementor.
I don't
It's
like
not
it.
the good kind.
Not the good kind. It is the Dementor kind.
And I don't appreciate it.
No,
Kevin.
we do not, Kevin. Well, I would give some help when and where we could squeeze it. But whenever I would tell him no, he would attempt to guilt me by saying things like, friends have each other's back. We're desperate. OP's had your back so long. You've been desperate a long time.
You're too desperate, man.
You've been desperate basically since you were like 12.
Yeah.
Well, by the end of summer of 2021, I had been working a pretty tough job in and out of hospitals. Without going into too much detail, this job really took a toll and left a permanent mark on me. At my lowest point during this season, Kevin called me while I was working, told me that he really needed someone to talk to. He once again told me he was having trouble with his mom and Karen. Low on sleep, caffeine, mental stability. I snapped. Finally, OP.
He's
The
reached.
backbone has grown.
What's a liquid with a high
Bone growing juice. It's not pumpkin juice. It doesn't taste good, but it's necessary to grow your bones back after Professor Gilderoy Lockhart cast his little
Gilderoy.
Lockhart cast his little bone dissolving spell on you. I yelled at him, telling him that I had told him the same advice again and again, and he refused to take my advice seriously. I hung up and fought tears from the stress as I went to my next servicing call. After that, things went silent between us, and I left that job a couple months later. Fast forward to midsummer 2023, and I had been working a job as a manager at a fast food restaurant for a couple of years. On this night, it was an hour before closing. Closing time was midnight, and it was just me and the cook when Kevin and a pregnant Karen pulled up to order some food. Karen's pregnant again? They order a couple of the more expensive items on the menu and pay with cash. Kevin also tries to tell me more family drama with his mom and grandparents. He also tries to talk about speeding ticket he had gotten, receiving messages about paying it despite believing he had it paid. But I cut the conversation short as I needed to finish pre-close duties. About 45 minutes later, Kevin messaged me asking me to bring them some more food and he'd pay me back for it later. Kevin doesn't pay things back. Kevin is the least reliable man in the known universe. Well, now our POS system had earlier gone through some technical issues and was unable to run credit and debit card transactions until an overnight reset, so we had to run cash only all night. As I had no cash on me to pay for the food, I told him that I wasn't going to be able to make it happen. He immediately responds with a freaking paragraph
No.
about how Karen desperately needs food, our pregnancy is high risk, that he would do whatever he had to do to provide for his wife.
I'm sorry. Why were they spending all that money on that expensive food at the restaurant then?
Yeah. And if you're willing to do whatever it takes, maybe hold a job
Yeah.
and attend it.
Maybe get a freaking job.
Maybe get a freaking job and actually stay at that job. Man has
Yeah.
been more absent than the space between fork prongs while you're trying to scoop soup up. I'm going to twist the knife on this metaphor, that he would do whatever he had to do to provide for his wife, and that I was a horrible friend by refusing to bring them food.
Oh, Lord.
I doubled down. I informed Kevin that upper management had been down and voided tickets, register shortages, and food waste based mostly in micromanaging, and that this would put me in a compromising position with my bosses. He simply responded with, just thought I'd ask.
This is freaking
You're asking too much, Kevin.
Remy being like, Linguini being like, yeah, you can have some food. Inviting all his friends.
All his friends. All his little
It wasn't
rat
his
friends.
fault. It was his brother.
That's true. He only invited his brother, but the point was he went
He was
against code.
yeah.
He was trusted, and he was going to steal a little bit, and he got caught because he tried to steal a lot. From there, things were silent for about 6 months. But by the end of the year, Kevin had introduced me to my breaking point. In fall of 2023, I had accepted a job offer in the public sector that I was overjoyed to receive. Will be relevant shortly. While at work early in the morning, about a week before Christmas, I get a message from Kevin asking for money and telling me that his wife and his children, including his 4-month-old son, are homeless and have been for a few days. I message him that I will call him that evening. When I call Kevin, he answers, and the only word I can get out of my mouth is explain. Explain. He tells me that they had been living with Karen's grandparents for a few months after getting out of the condo for not paying their fair share of rent.
What?
Kevin had to sit down with Karen's grandfather about needing to uphold his responsibilities, especially while living under someone's roof. At some point, Karen, who was eavesdropping from the other room, interjects and begins a screaming match with her grandfather. During the course of this shouting match, Kevin told me that Karen had threatened to remove from this plane herself, which prompted her grandfather to call the police.
Ooh.
So she's threatening to unalive right now. But most definitely, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but it seems like it's an attention move based on what we know about Karen. And when the police arrived, they determined that Karen had no intention of following through on her threats and proceeded to run everyone's information when an alert for an open warrant came through on Kevin. Has Kevin been stealing?
Kevin.
Remember that speeding ticket from earlier? Well, Kevin never bothered to confirm with the police that the payment had been received, resulting in a desk appearance that he never showed up for and led to a warrant for his arrest. He was also charged with driving on a suspended license. Kevin was taken away in cuffs and spent hours in the county jail before Karen was able to get the money from her mom to bail him out. When they got back to Karen's grandparents' house, her grandfather told Kevin he was no longer welcome and he should leave immediately. I mean, like, speeding ticket to warrant to Karen yelling to the point where the cops show up because she's like threatening her own life. I mean,
block this man.
Kevin and Karen are nothing but bad news.
Yeah, like literally you cannot help them. Block them.
Ugh.
They only want to use you.
Being in a really bad situation, my wife and I tried brainstorming ideas to help. You are too nice. I made a couple of calls and was able to set up an interview at a different branch with my previous employer. All Kevin had to do was apply online. But do we think Kevin's going to do that?
No.
I later found out he never even attempted to apply.
Kevin!
My wife had also won a competition at work that rewarded her with a $500 gift card that she volunteered to give to them. She had already used a little bit of it. We also had some toys and stuffed animals that we pulled together to give their kids for Christmas. However, I couldn't help but feel this knot in my stomach about it. I called Jack to see if I really was being a bad friend by withholding help. Apparently, I was not the only one Kevin was asking for money from. I invited Jack over for dinner that weekend, and I made reverse seared ribeyes, potatoes, au gratin, and sauteed asparagus spears. Not relevant. Just proud of how it turned out. All right,
that's honestly, it's very relevant. I want some of that.
I'm hungry.
I am hungry.
I found out that Kevin had been continually asking for money from multiple people over the previous several years. I also realized he had been making us all feel like we were being selfish, but for holding any assistance back, even if we were in dire straits ourselves. And Jack, for his part, was infuriated by the revelation that Kevin had been doing this to other people and felt it was time for a change.
You need to change your number.
Yeah, lose this guy.
Block him.
We both agreed that next time Kevin reached out for help, we would meet up and confront him about everything that has happened.
Why?
We're doing a little intervention.
Why?
A little over a week after that night, Kevin once again messaged me. I was out with my wife for a nice Sunday brunch when I got Kevin's message. He said that they had run out of money to stay at their hotel and that they were desperate and trying everything to avoid sleeping in their car in the middle of bitter winter cold snap. Felt nauseous at the thought of leaving them with nowhere to go, but Jack and I both agreed the cycle needed to end. I met Jack at my house and we messaged Kevin to meet us at the square in the nearby mall. Jack and I met Kevin at an empty table and told him everything. We said we were done enabling him and that we were tired of being taken advantage of. I love that they finally said something.
I mean, it's taken freaking
It's taken way too long. It's taken way too long. We said we were done enabling him and that we were tired of being taken advantage of. Kevin had the gall to tell me that we didn't understand what it was like to struggle. And at that point, Jack became so frustrated that he quickly stood up, told him, "I'm done," and stormed back to the car.
I'm struggling to find a reason why they're still friends.
I stayed and told Kevin that just because Jack and I weren't in the same position that he was, it didn't mean we didn't know what it was like to struggle. I also told him that he stopped being a friend to us when he started expecting money from us whenever he got into trouble. I told him that it was insulting to expect financial help when he would just turn his nose up at jobs we paved the way for him to get and ignore any and all advice we offered. His defeated 1,000-yard stare told me that he knew that we were right and that it was all over. I realized there was nothing else to be said. He got the message. I stood up, took the $100 in collective Christmas money I had been hoarding for the last few weeks, gave it to him, and said, don't waste it this time, and don't ever contact me again. The OP's putting the foot down and going.
It took so long. It
no
took
contact.
so
I mean, I feel
long.
like we should have gone low contact way earlier. We should have done the lock phone screen method.
Yeah.
Increasing spurts of no contactness.
Yeah, until he stops
or low
contacting you
contactness
at
until
all.
yeah. But finally, OP, this is what you should have done earlier. Before walking away without looking back. Jack, my wife, and I went and grabbed some dinner later to decompress, and Jack and I went back to his place to talk it out because we both knew we were torn up about it. By the way, you should never be torn up about not having enough episodes of this podcast because you can join us on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, and we're probably live right now, so tap our profile. There's a relevant update. I'm going to go straight into it.
Let's do it.
It's been 9 months since we cut contact, and Jack and I still find ourselves questioning whether or not it was the right thing to do or if we could have handled it better. My wife keeps reassuring me that this was long overdue. I still can't help but feel this turmoil over the whole thing. I know he was my best friend for nearly 2 decades, but I can't stand the thought of being taken advantage of anymore. Still, I wonder if we were too harsh for leaving him and his family in a state of homelessness with nowhere to go. Again, you gave him so much, and at a certain point, someone just has to help themselves.
I mean, you've given him a lot of fish, and he's got to learn. He's got to figure out how to.
He's got to learn to fish for himself. You know, you've given him somebody'd say too many fish. Too many fish.
My wife wants a baby with our other spicy partner. I'm not having it.
Well, yeah, you're not having it. She's having it with the other guy.
My wife, 34 female Lori, and I, 35 male, have been together for 16 years and married for 13. And our relationship has been open since the day we met in college. Now, about 8 years ago, we met another couple, Kyle, 34 male, and Andy, 33 female, who were also open and poly, and we hit it off right away. By the way, this comes from Poly on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So in 2012, Andy got pregnant. And after a bit of math, we realized that I was probably the father. After discussing our future, we had a commitment ceremony in July 2012 and have all been a family ever since. Now, at that time, Andy already had 1 baby with Kyle and Lori had 2 by me. On the periphery of all this was Joseph, 34 female. Joseph and Kyle have been friends since college, and I'll call friend Joseph. So friend Joseph, Kyle, and Andy, the other couple, have had an intermittent spicy related relationship ever since then. There was never anything serious there, but he was a regular third man in their after the commitment ceremony, Joseph occasionally joined all of us for some bedroom fun, but it was, again, an intermittent thing and nothing serious. So it wasn't a huge surprise when other wife Andy's baby turned out to be Joseph's, the friend, and not mine. It was still a surprise, but it wasn't a problem. The baby was welcomed into our family, and friend Joseph became a more regular guest in our home. About a year after the baby was born, a few things happened that seriously changed things. As if we wanted more confusing details.
Yeah, we haven't had any change so far.
So first, both Andy and Lori, the wives, both got pregnant again. As we later learn, Andy's baby was mine, so other wife Andy's baby was OP's this time around, and Lori's baby was Kyle's, the other husband. So shortly after that, friend Joseph was involved in a very serious motorcycle accident. He was hospitalized for nearly 2 months, lost his job, lost his apartment, and needed lots of help. So we ended up moving him in as a temporary thing, quote unquote, to help him out. That was 1.5 years ago. He's still here. Kyle is happy to have his old friend around all the time, and both women like him a lot. The spicy sleep is great between all of them, etc., etc. So 3 days ago, Lori was hinting that she needed to talk about something serious, but didn't know how to broach it. After a bit of discussion, it came out. She wants to have 1 more baby, and not just anybody's baby. She wants to have Joseph's baby, specifically. She wants to go off the pill and have Kyle and me either abstain from having spicy sleep with her or use protection until until Joseph gets her pregnant. When I asked her why, she shrugged her shoulders. She said that she loved him too and that it was only fair.
What do we talk? It's like, well, we have 2. He needs 1, or it's going to be weird.
We got to even it out. Let's even it out. She explained that Andy had a child by each of the 3 of us, and she wanted to have a child by each of us too. After a bit more discussion, it came out that the idea was actually Joseph's. He was feeling left out because he didn't have a child with her.
He got FOMO.
Got FOMO.
He
Baby
had
FOMO.
Having a baby with OP's wife, FOMO.
Listen,
Dang.
everyone's doing it. It's all the rage.
That's what I don't understand. Like it's like some people when they eat like a meal, it's like they have to like finish like the burger and the fries at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like this is almost the same way where it's like, well, if she's going to have a baby from each of us, I now have to have a baby from each man.
You know?
And it all evens itself out.
So, putting aside the childish notion that babies should be created solely to placate someone's sense of quote-unquote fairness, I have a few serious problems with this. First, we already have 6 kids in the house already, which is already a bit much at times. I thought we were all done having kids, and I'm not really sure that I want any more. Second, there is no commitment to Joseph. Where the rest of us have gone through a commitment ceremony to join ourselves together, he hasn't. But the biggest issue is also the simplest. I don't really like the guy. I never have. He's got this vibe and has always struck me as a bit untrustworthy. He honestly reminds me of a shady used car salesman. He also drinks too much, is a bit of a bigot, and has a personality that I find grating. I didn't object to him hanging around now and then because he was Kyle's friend, and I didn't have a problem with the spicy sleep because it was just spicy sleep. And I understood the history of their relationship, but now I'm wishing that I had. To be honest, I've long hoped that he'd meet someone who wasn't into polyamory just to get him out of our spicy sleep lives and relationship. When he moved in after the accident, I kept my mouth shut because they were just trying to be helpful, and the discussions about his long-term plans always alluded to the idea that he would be moving out again someday. When he really annoyed me, I'd tell myself that this was just temporary.
That's actually such a really good like mentality to have, a this too shall pass mentality of just like, gotta just ride it out. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. I don't know if this is one of those times.
But when you have a rogue Joseph trying to enter a 7th baby into the equation.
Yeah, I think the most illuminating thing to me there was it was like I was just kind of hoping that he would like leave, right?
Hoping. Not communicating.
Yes. I was just hoping someone would take him from our polyamory situation. It's like, you gotta take your thoughts and put them out in the open.
Communicate early and often before 7 babies. So now I'm facing the possibility that this guy is going to be around forever. Now, Kyle and Andy love the idea and think that Lori having Joseph's baby is romantic. Now, Lori is looking to cement some kind of bond with him. I, on the other hand, seem to be getting angrier and angrier every time I see him, almost violently angry. I want to chase this guy out of our home and never let him in again. I want to give him the old 1-2 diddly-do square in his smug little face. I temporarily, quote unquote, tolerated someone that I disliked because I wanted to be generous and helpful and because he's the father of one of Andy's children. So now, because I didn't want to be a wiener and co-sign a disabled man to homelessness, he's worked his way into our relationship and seems quite content to stay there forever. If this pregnancy happens, I know he'll never move out. How do I even begin to approach this? I don't really care if Joseph gets hurt in this, but every other solution seems to lead to the other people in my family being miserable, them being angry with me, or me living in silent misery. I can't see any way to resolve this that doesn't involve hurting those I love or hurting myself. Does anyone have any insights or suggestions? I don't want to lose this wonderful family that we've built, but every route I see seems to do harm. What would you do when every member of your family wants to include the new person in the family and you don't? We have relevant comments coming up. This might be the most conundrumist conundrum we have faced in 4 years of OK Storytime.
You may think that, but I have a startlingly simple solution. You just say dibs. You just go, dibs. Sorry, I had dibs. And you talk to your husband and your wife, and you go, guys, I want him out. I have dibs on y'all. I had dibs. We did the ceremony. I have dibs.
Multi-dib. This is the first multi-dibs I've ever seen in my life.
They
if I'm being
did
honest.
the dibmitment ceremony.
They did.
They dibbed each other.
They did the dibmitment. Okay, so basically, what I'm seeing here is I also want to flag how he was like, I was silent for so long and then I got angry, violently angry. It's like you are, by withholding and not communicating, you are like, kind of festering and kind of growing these feelings of anger, which could turn into something really bad. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just all the more to what we said earlier. You have to communicate. And, the best time was like, I guess before baby number 1 or whatever, 10 years ago, whatever it was. But the next best time is right now. And I think he needs to say, I'm not comfortable with this, y'all. What do we think? What do we feel?
You got to tell your wife, you got to be like, I really don't want.
To the relevant commenters on this story. Thank you. I didn't realize until I read in your post that I really do hate the guy now. I'm not sure when that happened. A few days ago, I just disliked him a lot. Since learning that he wants to have a baby with my wife, that dislike has been festering in a pool of anger and has grown into something quite a bit darker. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. At myself, at him, at the whole situation. You're right that I need to have this discussion and get these things out there. Yes, keeping it bottled up isn't healthy and it's making things a lot worse. I don't want to hate this guy. I don't want to hate anybody, but keeping it bottled up is eating me alive. So for my own mental health, I need to get this out there. I think this was a relevant comment from none other than the OP himself. But we have another update. Thank you, everyone, for your responses. Your comments have been very helpful. Time for me to head home for the day, so I won't be responding any longer. I'll have to think through some of the suggestions and figure out how to proceed, but I will absolutely speak up and let everyone know of my feelings. It may be too late, and the damage may be unavoidable, but it has to happen. That leads into the next small update. After I got home, I told Lori that we needed to talk and that we needed to seriously discuss some things before there was any more talk about babies. I told Andy and Kyle, the other wife and husband, that we needed to have a meeting in the morning to discuss Joseph, but didn't want to go into it tonight because he and the kids were already home. They figured out really quickly that I'm not happy with things and will hash it out tomorrow after Joseph heads off to his morning rehab visit. Golly, and the other kids head off to school. So OP has set the table. We're going to have the big discussion tomorrow morning. We have the update right in front of us. What are we feeling, Dakota?
I mean, you did it almost, kind of. You're there. You're on the way. You said something. And I like, I hope that the rage and anger boiling within you does not become summoned tomorrow morning. And you can stay cool, baby.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're at a crossroads now. You're like either going to have a life with Joseph or a life without Joseph. And you've got to present it to the group in terms of why you think it's best for everybody.
But ladies and gentlemen, there's only one way to discover how we unravel this entanglement. So I began by clearing the air about my feelings for Joseph. I reminded everyone that he and I have never gotten along and that I've always viewed his presence in our home as a temporary thing. I told them all that I still view it as a temporary thing and that I can't support any moves to make his presence in our home more permanent. That's when Kyle and Andy, the other husband and other wife, dropped the bombshell. Following Lori's announcement a few days ago, they'd already been talking and asking Joseph to join our family formally through a commitment ceremony, making him a permanent part of her household, unbeknownst to OP.
Wait, and they left you out? Oh, dude, you're trying to be replaced right now.
They were apparently going to bring it up with me today. So that's when I reminded them that as part of our original commitment, we agreed that any additions to our family had to be done unanimously, and I made it very clear that I would never agree to that. My statement led to a huge argument, which included them calling me selfish and stating that the three of them could hold a commitment ceremony without me. I didn't want to go there, but I shut that down by saying, understand that if you do that, you're not talking about adding someone new to the family, you're talking about replacing me with him. I can't stay in a family that would hurt and disrespect me that way. Now that led to even more arguing, which didn't have any real conclusion. That's when I turned to Lori, the OG wife. I told her that I loved her and that it broke my heart that she wanted to have a child with someone I couldn't stand. I also told her that I found it offensive that he'd ask her to have a child to placate his own ego, but that I thought the request was fairly consistent with his lack of character. I reminded her that a child is not an object to be traded for affection or love, and that they should only be created as an expression of that love. Thanks, call me Brother G. I guess they suggested that. I told her without any hesitation that having a child with Joseph would irrevocably change our relationship and drive a wedge between us. She would be choosing his happiness over mine, and that's how the relationship would end. We're here. We have reached the thick of it.
And you're doing a great job in this moment.
Yeah.
I think.
He is clearly stating what his wants and needs are, and like what he will do if she does choose to go forth. Yeah.
And they can call you selfish, but it sounds like you're just following the rules y'all set up 13 years ago.
Now, she told me that she loved us both and she wouldn't choose between us. She flat out said that she wanted to have one more baby, that she'd already talked to Joseph about it, and that she wasn't going to go back on her word. She then offered to get rid of the exclusive part, saying that she was willing to go off the pill and have spicy sleep with the both of us to let fate decide the baby's paternity.
That's like the equivalent of like letting like, you know, like the trial by combat where it's just like, we will let the gods decide your fate. Choose your champion. The swimmers are going to be in there like, they're going to have little swords and bows and arrows. Oh my God. This just tells you all you need to know. Run away. That is an unhinged thing to think. For real.
I told her this was unacceptable, reminded her that I'm her husband and family, and he's not. I said that in not making a decision, she was actually making a choice. I told her that I'd be more than willing to have another child with her, but that having a child with Joseph would be the end of us. And then I went to work. The discussion didn't really change anything or lead to any firm decisions, but the information is now out there and everyone else knows where I stand. We'll see where everything goes from here. And we have that second update. We know we have the answer to where things will go.
I mean, what is there to say? You know, like when you have a situation like this, things are going to get complicated at some point. I guess they didn't get too complicated until 6 children were born and a man moved into their living room.
Yeah.
That Andy then had a baby with. And now Lori's like, I kind of feel like I'm missing out on that Joseph baby train.
Want to get in on the action.
She's got 3 babies with 3 different daddies. I want 3 babies with 3 different daddies.
Fair is fair, bro.
I'm just like, I want to go into the woods and live in a tent. If I'm OP, I'm like, I'm leaving town. I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
And when I do come back, I'll be taking custody of my children.
So, in the day since my last update, a lot has happened. Some things genuinely surprised me, and it looks like my family will be changing a bit. However, things appear to have settled down. I should mention this will be my last update. That may or may not be true. I mentioned to Lori that I'd been discussing our situation on the Reddit Poly group, and she wanted to read it. After bawling her eyes out as she read through everything, she apologized to me for everything. We spent the night together, no spicy sleep, just holding each other all night. This morning, she asked me not to discuss this anymore until we get everything worked out, but she said that I could post one final update. So where to begin? First, Joseph is moving out.
Okay. All right. We got there.
We're
in it.
Might be gone.
We did it.
Yup. It's actually happened. And the shocking thing, it was his idea. He finally demonstrated some of that nice guy personality to me that I've never been able to connect with. I knew that Joseph would be home when I returned from work yesterday, and I was honestly expecting the worst. I was sure that someone would have clued him into our conversation and expected him to react with his usual a-hole persona. That didn't happen. Instead, a few minutes after I came home, Joseph walked into my room, asked me to join him in the backyard for a conversation. I was expecting a fisticuffs, but got an apology instead.
Okay, that's a nice surprise.
We're making improvement here.
That's a good, nice surprise.
He admitted that we've never gotten along and that he's never liked me either. However, he said that he didn't feel right about coming in between me and Lori. He went on to talk about how happy his son is in our family and how he didn't want to destroy the family. At the same time, he admitted how much he loved living with his son and how he really didn't want to go back to only seeing him once a week. I had never thought about that. In the end, he proposed a solution that I accepted. There's a nice apartment complex about 2 blocks from our house, and he wants to get an apartment there when he lands a job. He's pretty good at what he does and already has some job leads, so he anticipates that's going to happen soon. He can visit our house whenever he wants during the week. I'm at work anyways, and he can spend up to 2 nights a week at my house to be closer to his kid. If he does it right, that means he could still potentially see his son 7 days a week, while I only have to deal with him for 2. It's a great solution that gives us both what we want. He's already told Lori that he doesn't want to have a baby with her, so now that is also off the table. He admitted that he wanted to have a baby with Lori, but didn't want to put her in the middle of a conflict over it. And then we had an adult soda together. I didn't even complain when he handed me one of his piss water Coors Lights. Totally not kidding. This guy really does fit certain stereotypes. My low opinion of the guy went up a notch. As for Lori, she was a tearful mess for most of the day. And Joseph taking the baby off the table was fairly devastating to her. After I got home and we talked a bit, she unloaded her soul and let me know just how much she wants another baby and how much it hurt that neither Kyle nor I want one with her. She even felt hurt that neither of us even clued her in on the level of pain over it. After several hours of talking to her, we came to an agreement. We are going to have one more baby, but we'll wait another year. And interestingly, she wants it to be mine, not Kyle's and not Joseph's. Kyle apparently doesn't have a problem with this at all. So what about her relationship with Joseph?
What are we doing,
You might
Blake?
be asking.
I would not be letting go of that. I'd be like, oh, so now somebody wants my baby?
Oh no.
Oh, now that Joseph said no, now someone wants my baby again?
Well, here's where polyamory and open relationships could potentially get complicated. The commitment ceremony, basically the wedding between all of them, is off the table, but she still wants to date him and have some sort of relationship with him. No babies, no pregnancy, just some love and spicy sleep every now and again. She won't ever sleep with him when he's staying over at her house, but she'll still be going out on dates with him, visiting him at his place from time to time, and staying overnight on the occasion, maybe once a month. Well, I have to admit that I'm still not totally thrilled with that. It's really just going back to the relationship they had before he even moved in with us, which I will tolerate for her happiness. Andy, the other wife, on the other hand, is now a problem. She is still furious with me over all of this and isn't showing any signs of backing down. In a way, it's understandable. She's had a spicy related and emotional relationship with Joseph since she was 21 years old and is the mother of his child. She was really looking forward to him becoming a part of our family and deeply hurt by my rejection of it. Kyle, the other husband, told me last night that she had even talked about leaving the family over it and moving in with Joseph, but that was just quote unquote angry talk. I mean, is it though?
Yeah.
Is it just angry
she's
talk?
just bearing like her deepest, realist truths, and then she's going, well, I didn't mean that. That was just angry talk. It's like, no, I think you're obsessed with this guy and you wanted him in the polycule and now he's not in it and you're going to just continue to grow more bitter and upset about it.
That sounds like it. Well, right now, all I get from her are cold stares and slammed doors. I really don't know how this is going to resolve itself, but for the sake of our daughter, I'll never stop trying. I forgot they had a kid together. So now I put her in the middle of a fight between the fathers of two of her children, two men she loves, and she's furious at me for even forcing the choice. It may take some time for both of us to work through it.
Again, though, they did this. They went behind your back.
Yes.
And tried to be like, get this guy into the group and basically strong arm you into saying yes.
Now, Kyle's a bit of a different story. He admitted that he knew Joseph and I didn't get along and apologized to me for not talking to me sooner and making sure that I was okay with everything. Okay. He apparently blames himself for the arguing, thinking that it was his job to run interference since Joseph was originally his friend and I'm a life partner in his family. I told him not to worry about it because it was my fault that I didn't bring it up myself. We had this big talk. Then we had an adult soda, Sierra Nevada West Coast Porter. This time, Kyle has much better taste. So with all that, I'm going to wrap this up like you should have before. I'd like to thank all of you for your insights, your commentary, and for putting up with my venting. Posting here gave me a place to mentally work through some of these issues before I broached them with my family and probably saved me from making some very ugly comments and choices. By the way, if you want to save yourself from making ugly choices and comments and having, the greatest show on earth give you good advice goofily to navigate the relationships that matter most, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, search OK Storytime, and listen to 2,000 episodes. That's right, our new friends, we have 2,000 episodes on podcast. So, and counting. It does not stop. Before we actually have a bit of a beefy end for our usual end of stories here. But Dakota, as we're kind of on the motorcycle, rainbow flaps flapping in the wind, riding off into the sunset, what are we feeling right now?
That this is a hot mess. You're in too deep, and finding a way for this to maybe dissolve into two families instead of what's going on right now. Because it's like you've got Andy who's like bearing her soul about how she really feels about Joseph and then being like, psych, just kidding. I didn't really mean that. That was just angry talk. No, it wasn't. You meant that. So that's going to be another, a corrosive element
Yeah.
of the group collective here.
And that wasn't her saying it was Kyle saying that for her.
God, I mean, like, they did it really well for almost for a decade and a half. They did it well.
Well, we do have a little bit left in the story. It is a good little chunk. Let's see what happens.
Run away.
I genuinely appreciated all of your responses, and I know that my wife, Lori, found many of your comments eye-opening and insightful as well. She loves the thought that we're a tribe. Because someone requested it, we may come back and do an Ask Me Anything at some point about the emotional and family dynamics of living in a large poly/tribal household, but we need to finish working through the current situation first. Much love to all. And OP on his feelings for Joseph after the fact now. OP says, this has raised my level of respect for him a bit, and I'm trying to move past the resentment this situation created. When Joseph and I were talking about not liking each other, we both agreed that if nothing else, we both needed to be respectful of each other for the sake of the kids and the other members of the family. I brought that up. He fully agreed. Neither of us seems to want any kind of open conflict or competition in the household, though when I asked him to talk to Andy, the other wife, last night, to get her to sit down and have a conversation with me, 2 days now without a word from her, is getting the silence treatment, his blunt response was, "You broke it, you fix it."
I don't think he broke it. Again, they broke it by doing all of that behind OP's back.
Yeah.
And then OP was like, hey, remember the rules? How it has to be unanimous? I ain't voting yes.
Yeah.
And they all went, that's not fair. You're selfish. And I love Joseph so much. But that's not how the rules work.
OP, the author goes back to say, we've still got a long ways to go. There you go. And on why Joseph did what he did in the end, I wouldn't say that I like him more, but I certainly have a bit more respect for him. He made it pretty clear that he was doing this for his son and that he was putting his son's needs before his own. His kid has a happy, stable life, and he wants to keep it that way. When he realized that he couldn't have what he wanted without also screwing up his kid's life, Joseph put his child first. I have an enormous amount of respect for that decision. So we went from a bit of respect to enormous, apparently.
Yeah, dude, this guy likes Joseph.
Yeah.
This he likes him.
He's falling for him.
He likes him.
His Joseph's entire solution really revolves around his son. It keeps him involved with his son's life on a daily basis. It puts him just around the corner so his son can visit him constantly, and it reduces strife in his son's household, thus giving the kid stability. I understand where it's coming from too. I mentioned in the original discussion that he'd once liquidated his investments and retirement accounts to buy his sister and her kids a house after her husband walked out on them. Joseph is a deeply complicated man. Is he a bigot? Is he also, selling everything he owns to give his sister who loses her life a house? Wow. Complicated character.
We've read precisely 0 examples of Joseph being a bigot, and we've read exactly 1 example of him selling his entire life to help his sister.
Joseph came from a fairly broken, unstable home and wants better for his children. When his sister was facing the same situation, he was saving her kids more than he was saving his sister. When his own kid was facing a self-destructed family, he pulled himself out of it to put the kids' well-being first. I don't know that Joseph and I will ever be friends, but my anger has largely faded, and I wouldn't say that I hate him. I have a lot more respect for him than I did before any of this happened, but I think we're too different to actually like each other. As I said in the original post, he openly admitted that the feeling is mutual. My only regret is letting my original wife, Lori, read the other thread, and she saw the word hate there. I've never used that word in an actual conversation over the past week, but Lori did mention it to my other wife, Andy. Looking back, I think the hatred a reaction to be stuck in the middle of a situation at the time, and I absolutely don't feel any hatred towards him now. Still, it's hard to unsay a word. And our word is that the story is over.
Yeah. It's so hard, it's impossible to unsay a word.
It's literally impossible.
Once you've said it, it's said.
It is said. And you know what? Just some closing thoughts here. A lot was untangled. OP did grow and communicate. Joseph did a lot of communicating and navigating and trying to prioritize the son. We've still got some stuff to entangle, but I think they might be able to figure this out.
Joseph did the right moves.
He did.
He literally was like, look, I'm just going to remove myself from this whole situation because I just want my son to not have a crazier life than he already has.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll get out of here instead of having a baby with your wife.
And that's what he did. I want to end my relationship with my pregnant partner Because I'm not the father.
Oh, that's a good reason to end it.
It's a good reason, sir. Well, I know this title sounds like I'm an a-hole for wanting to end it with her.
Does it?
But let me explain a bit of my background before you pass judgment on me. I've known this girl, or should I say woman, since she's old enough to be my mom.
Girly.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
And I mean that gender neutrally. Girly.
For a few years now. We used to work in the same department together, and we were pretty close together. By the way, this comes from Ichigo is my homie. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
For context, OP is 27 and his pregnant partner is 29 female.
That's not old enough to be his
That's
mom.
old. Wait, what? That can't be possible.
We're like 40, but I digress.
Something's wrong here.
Something's wrong. Something's off. But Opie says, we talk about life and such, but I never consider myself to be romantically involved with her. She was just like a big sister to me.
Oh.
I moved into another department last year.
Okay, wait. So is she 29 or is she old enough to be your mom?
I think old enough to be the stepsister.
I'm going to say jury's out for now until we
Okay.
get more information. I moved to another department last year, but we still kept in touch with each other by texting. She was always in a relationship, and so was I up until last year. Oh, God. I broke my relationship with a girl that I had been together with for almost 6 years the day before my 27th birthday.
Dang.
Long story. I told her about it over a casual text message. How casual? And she told me that she also broke up with her harmful boyfriend a couple of weeks before.
Super casually as well.
So
They're
casual.
both like, yeah, we broke up. Do you have any thoughts about that?
What do you got to say about that? She suggested that we hang out and talk about our failed relationships. Also, Kitty B said 29 or 39.
39, sorry, 39.
Now we're
39.
there. That's a
Sorry.
young mama.
Wait.
but
Number
still.
dyslexia.
Wait, okay. It's 39.
It's
okay,
39.
Riley. It's okay.
Get out of my head.
It's 39. Okay, everyone.
I'm sorry, Josephine. Sorry.
Hey, Josephine, give her.
Also not old enough to be his mom.
Yeah, no. I feel like he's like speaking hyperbolically.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, she's so old.
I mean, technically,
she's almost 10. She's more than 10 years older than me.
Technically, it's maybe just barely possible, but that's a stretch.
Young mom.
That's a biblical mom right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But at this point, I still considered her a good friend and never intended for the visit to be more than just a hangout. We hung out together in the past, snowboarding, bar hopping, etc., but that was the first time I ever went to her place. Long story short, we hooked up and had some spicy sleep that night. I wore a rubber, thank God, unlike the last
Good.
story.
Yeah, he's like, actually, my polo game is really good.
So good, I don't need to. Oh, God. From then on, we were regularly hooking up every other week or so throughout the summer. I was loving the arrangement because it was purely friends with benefits. Later on, I heard from another coworker of mine that he was also sleeping with her.
Okay.
Fun facts. So it was all good old adult fun time for both of us for the rest of last summer.
Sure.
Listen,
Sometimes you gotta work on those interpersonal office relationships, you know?
if it floats your boat and lifts the sail on your mast, who am I to stop
I
you?
didn't like that.
Or both of
I
you.
didn't like that.
So, I'm sorry.
I didn't like it.
We were getting quite close that it became a weekly thing for us. And I was becoming more risky during spicy sleep,
Stop.
not using rubbers and pulling out, etc.
No.
Oh, we thought we were good, but
I thought I was in the clear.
We thought we were in the clear. But I never finished inside of her. It wasn't until around last September that she finally told me that she was pregnant.
Wow.
And here we are. We're right back where
And here
we
we
started.
are, not shocked.
I was shocked.
Oh, how? He's like, how? It couldn't have possibly. There's no way.
My calculations have calculated this never could have happened.
I'm just too good.
Good thing you got a friend because you could put it on them. It's a coin toss at this point.
It's a Mamma Mia situation.
I forgot about the other guy. Oh.
Except we need a third man. Anyway.
we need where who's number 3? Who's
And then we
mystery
need to
man?
go to Greece.
Oh. Grease. Hair. I was shocked. I felt like I had just been punted in the guts. She told me that she wasn't sure who the possible father was because she was still sleeping with her ex-boyfriend while doing me also. I never brought up the fact that I knew she also slept with the other dude from work. So we have our 3. Bada bing, bada boom.
No, that's the second dude.
Well, there's ex-boyfriend and
Oh,
coworker.
wait. Oh, I see.
You see. Since I also slept around with a few girls during that same time period, but she told me that
Wait, y'all were sleeping around with multiple people unprotected?
Damn.
this is not. Why?
You might have
why would
got other things than a child.
what are we doing?
Yep.
Y'all,
Where is our spicy education?
this is unnecessary. This is unnecessary.
Someone needs to sit you all down
Listen,
with a pamphlet on STDs.
unless you grew up in Florida like me, there's no excuse for you.
Or unless you grew up in a Catholic school with no spicy education.
Just
No,
don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do
and
it.
even I had
That's all you had to do.
You know, you can figure it out.
Come on.
Come on.
We have the tools. We have the technology. But she told me that she hopes the child is mine. She told me she had been wanting to have a child, but her previous husband, prior to this ex-boyfriend, was sterile, but she was planning to adopt a child anyways. So she was planning to keep the baby. She told me that she didn't expect me to be there for the child if I didn't want to. I have to throw out this conspiracy theory.
Give it.
He was getting with these guys.
Yeah.
Slowly was like, hey, we don't need to use the protection. I'm cool
Yeah.
with it, in hopes of
Having baby.
having bio baby.
Baby trap. Except she doesn't want to trap anyone. She
Yes.
just wants the baby.
Yes, she baby trap minus the trap.
Yeah.
Just baby.
Just baby.
Just baby.
Just like you've served your purpose. Now you can leave. Which is really messed up.
This is a little crazy. There's banks you can go to, and I won't say the first word in it, but you can go to them. Dang it, Riley. Getting us taken down over here. So we both have decent paying jobs and are financially capable of raising a child, so I'm not worried about the welfare of this unborn child, but I was raised to be responsible for my actions.
But not to educate yourself on protecting
No,
yourself.
that's correct. I am not responsible for my education, but I am responsible for my actions, all caps, Opie says. I told her that if the child was mine, then I also wanted to be there for the baby and help support her. The only condition was that I wanted a legitimate paternity test to find out who the father was, and I even paid for the testing. What a gentleman.
What a gentleman.
What a gentleman.
Oh, man. Gentlemen these days
Dude, just
really know how to sweep a woman off her feet.
salt to the earth over here. She also agreed to keep our relationship a secret from many of our coworkers and common friends until the result was in. Due to circumstances, we had to wait until she was due for amniocentesis.
Amnio?
Amnio.
Centesis?
Amniocentesis.
It's like amnio.
Amniocentesis.
Yeah.
Amniocentesis. Let me know if I said that right. Around 20 weeks gestation. Then we could proceed with the paternity test.
I
So
think it's like amniotic fluids.
yeah, we need like 20 weeks for the amniotic fluids to be there to successfully do
I
that.
have
What does
no
that? What
idea.
does that mean? What does the amniotic fluid do?
You listen up here, buddy. Okay? How many times do I have to say
Ow!
I was educated in the Sunshine State?
You spell that wrong.
Ha.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
It's
I could.
clear or
It's the
slightly
stuff.
yellow
It's
fluid.
the stuff in the womb.
It's the
Yeah.
stuff in
That's
the womb.
like it's like helping the baby form.
It
and
helps the baby
protecting
form.
it.
It's good old baby juice.
Good
Okay.
old words.
I passed
Yeah.
my driver's test by looking it up on Yahoo Answers.
It's actually
I don't
blue.
know what else to tell you. Okay.
So the baby is in the little. It's like when you're in a one of those deprivation tanks.
Sensory
deprivation. Yeah.
Yes.
But imagine it was like you were in a car accident and you were in it,
Oh.
but it's also it's just like keeps you there.
It's just like
Huh?
I don't even know how to, it just keeps you safe.
I'm in the amniotic sac with the amniotic fluid. That sounds like I'm
also,
saying it
if
wrong.
anyone would know this, it'd be you, bro. Because you've been in there the longest.
Listen. Just because I was a fetus for 19 months doesn't mean I knew what was going on. I can't remember being a fetus.
Storm Kitten says, in another way from what I just explained, which I think was a great metaphor, it helps protect the baby from bumping around and stuff.
Your brain fluids.
We're learning so much. We're learning so much today.
I already knew this, but John's learning a lot.
Sure. You just get a download at puberty of how the woman's body works? I don't even know how my own body works.
You should figure that out.
Dobie says, I've been spending more time with her while waiting for the amino, and I actually like it. She told me that I've become her only...
Amnio.
Amnio.
Yeah,
You're correct.
amino's an acid.
Waiting for the amnio, and I actually like it. She told me that I've become her only spicy-related partner since she found out about the pregnancy.
I don't know if I buy that.
Oh.
I don't know if I buy that.
Little mama's still...
Wait. Who's the daddy?
We still don't know.
I think she's just saying that because the other dude
I think
is
she's like,
I'm out of here.
She's like, you're my favorite of the three. I didn't want to tell you, but you're my favorite. Don't tell anyone else. And then she tells that to all the guys.
Ooh. Getting that money.
Mm-hmm.
Triple child support?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Whoa. But she's getting the test before the baby's freaking popped out. Way before.
You'll be getting dinners.
That's true. Yeah. Soak it up while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Get those
amniotic
results.
fluid.
Sure.
Soak it up. Got him. So at one point, she even told me the I love you. Although I didn't say it back because she was saying it in a casual way. And I also don't feel that way about her.
He's like, hey, love you. And he was like,
she told me that I was such a better person than her ex because I treated her with respect, etc. And she wished that I could stick around. I told her that let's take things one day at a time. The more time I spent with her, the more I saw that she was getting more attached to me and her insecurities started to show. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, I received the paternity test in the mail and I am not the father.
whoa.
Sorry, guys.
What?
Plot twist.
So at this point, does he just head out? He's like, hey.
I mean, his action did not yield responsibility to be responsible for.
Even though he was irresponsible.
Even though
He
he
does
was
not
irresponsible. He
have responsibility.
he lucked out.
Yeah.
And it's not his responsibility at
Yeah.
this juncture.
But my advice to you is to use protection.
Or, you already got
My
away
advice
with it
to you.
once.
Don't have spicy sleep or you die.
So as much as I enjoyed being with her, I knew I had to end the romantic relationship
What do
I
you
had
mean
with
you enjoy? You were like, I don't really like her.
her. She's old.
She said I love you, and I didn't say it back. 'cause
She's
I don't-
my
I don't feel
mother.
that way.
How could I? I don't want a relationship where I can't be open about it to my friends and family. It is a major taboo in my culture, I'm from Southeast Asia, to have a premarital child and none of my family members know about the issue.
But not taboo enough to use protection.
She's calling it like she sees it, and she's not wrong. Let me tell you that. Even for Western culture standards, being in a relationship with someone who is pregnant with someone else's child seems to be quite unacceptable.
I mean, it just seems like you're not interested in her.
Yeah, like
Just say, like, were you even in a relationship with her while all this stuff was going on, or did you just stick around because you thought you might be the father? Because that's what I thought.
and also it sounded like he was like, oh, she stopped having other spicy sleeping partners.
Yeah.
That kind of implies that they were continuing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. She is a great person and a good friend of mine, and I don't want to end this relationship abruptly. I don't want the breakup to cause emotional harm to her, especially when her hormones are out of whack from the pregnancy, thus making her more susceptible to depression, which I know she was on antidepressant meds in the past. I care about her well-being and the fetus, but I can't keep stringing her along any longer and making her grow more attached to me day by day. I must stop her from loving me because I am so lovable.
No, wait, no, read the next sentence.
I was going to break it off with her on Valentine's Day. That negates all the words that you just you know.
Why?
Listen. We're all for communicating, quickly and like all of this. Give it 24 more hours.
Why?
Give it 24 more hours, bro.
What about Valentine's Day made you think that was a good day to do that?
Why? Just the 15th. The 15th is there.
The 15th is a great day.
Yes.
Honestly, maybe 13th if you really need to do it.
You know what? Yeah. But not then.
14th.
You know, ideally the 15th, to be honest.
Ideally the 15th
you know.
because you don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because then you don't want to have done stuff on the 14th.
Yeah, and spend money.
Well, I just meant like get her hopes up romantically on the 14th.
That's true. That's a good point. These are good points. Just not the 14th.
Let's just do it a month before.
Yeah. Come on. Let's.
Speed it up.
But I couldn't bring myself to tell her. Then she made a wonderful dinner and other things, and showed me that she loved
Yeah, because
me.
it's freaking Valentine's Day. You goof.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, my brain's tired of thinking about this issue. I'm going to do some laundry and hit the gym for some cardio, and hopefully clear my head about this issue. I would appreciate insights from those who have been in a similar situation and how you have dealt with it.
Not like this.
This Yeah, not like this, brother. But there is a quick edit. Edit number 1, thank you for the constructive criticisms. I know it was immature and foolish on my part for going bareback, but spare me your judgment. Too late. I asked for your insights on this issue, not your judgment. I'm just a human. I make mistakes.
Just a human.
Yeah.
OP, this is what I think OP sounds like.
Yes.
I'm just human, okay? I make mistakes.
I'm just a
I
human.
didn't know that I couldn't break up with someone on Valentine's Day. I thought because it was a day about love that I could also end a relationship. I didn't know. You're all being so mean to me.
I was going to do it, but she made me salmon. And I like salmon.
I like salmon. And she told me that she loved me. So I couldn't do it then. So I stayed with her for another year. Sue me. Sue me. No one told me that I had to wear protection, okay?
I will admit that this is not a fun thing to communicate, but my dude, come on. The issue is bad enough for me to deal with, and I don't need your condescending judgment about not using a wiener wrapper. Don't comment if you're just going to judge me for my past. Too late,
It's
pal.
okay. Don't worry, Uffy. I'm also judging you for your present.
Got him. I will plan a meeting with her sometime this week to sit down and have the talk with her.
Good.
An update will depend on how things go in the next couple of weeks. And ladies and gentlemen,
Jump in.
we have an update.
Let's jump in.
Let's go. It didn't go well.
Shock. So much shock.
It didn't go as well as I would have liked to. I've been busy working the last week and was only able to squeeze in one night to talk to her. I had it all planned down in my head while driving up to her place. I was going to casually take her out to eat. So much casualness. And so I could tell her about it outside her own home. Later on, a female coworker told me that's a crappy move for a
Yeah.
breakup.
I'm sorry, you made her do that in public?
Yeah, that's not smart.
Huh.
So in my head, I didn't want her home to remind her of the breakup. So I took her out to eat.
Probably took her to a Panera.
That's so true, dude. Panera's where all dreams go to die.
He's like, hello. He did it on the 15th
Yeah.
and bought her a box of chocolate. And she was
Bread
like, oh my
bowl?
God, that's so sweet. He's like, I'm breaking up with you?
Yeah. But here's bread bowl. Enjoy. We went to this crappy looking Mexican food restaurant with great reviews on Yelp. This guy is interesting. The food was amazing, but she was feeling nauseated, most likely to pregnancy related symptoms. Dude, like, did you ask her what she like? Did you at least ask her if she had a place she wanted to go to, or if she had any, hankerings?
Man chose like the most like scent,
Yeah.
heavy food and was like, yeah, this will be fine for a pregnant woman who's nauseous.
I went to this spice and grease pit and it was awesome, but she kind of hated it and was throwing up and stuff.
Lord.
We just went on like usual during a dinner. I didn't want to break up while she was feeling sick, so we just got back to her place and I ended up staying the night at her place. My brother in Christ, what are we doing? We got hungry around 3 a.m. and she suggested going to Denny's for an early breakfast before going back to sleep. She works the night shift and I work in the afternoon. Wow, night shift. And she was feeling a lot better, so I was going to break the news at Denny's.
It is technically the 15th.
Guys, he was going to break the news at Denny's at 3 a.m.
On the 15th. Get an early start.
Actually, I think it's the 16th now.
Yeah, it's been a day.
Yeah, it's been a day.
Okay, even better.
But I was going to break the news at Denny's, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So we went
I was
back.
going to marry this woman.
Yeah, right? He's just like,
He's like,
the-
I couldn't bring myself to say no, so I married her. I've happily raised this child for 13 years.
Here we are. I'm daddy, but I'm not daddy. So we went back to her place again after Denny's, and we both went to sleep, the non-spicy kind. I left her place in the afternoon to go to work, and when I got to work, I received a text from her saying, "Thank you for spending time with me last night." She also asked me if I could meet up with her for a late lunch special. My shift usually ended around her lunchtime, and in the past, we used to hook up like rabbits on her lunch break in my wagon.
Stabbing wagon.
I replied to her by saying, I would like to do a late lunch special, but I think we need to talk about us. She knew it then and there that what the talk was all about and texted me that she was upset and would have rather have had this talk at her place last night. I apologized if I made her upset right before going to work, but I told her I had to be honest with her and myself. I told her that if I could just wait until after the weekend to discuss this matter, since we would be both working all weekend long. Oh man, I don't know, dude. I think the cat is out of the bag, but we'll see what you do. Fast forward to tonight. I text her again and ask her how she's doing. She said she's doing okay. We then started discussing the text from last week. She was still upset about it. She wished it could have happened in person. She told me she had so many things to say to me and none of it was bad or mean. She just wanted to close this chapter with me by saying all the nice things about me, but the text from last week left her with a sour note and she couldn't say those nice things anymore. She said she enjoyed my companionship and that she didn't expect anything from me since she found out about the pregnancy. Then she told me that we should go snowboarding next year. So I told her that I enjoyed the companionship and agreed on the future snowboarding plan. Okay. I told her I wished her and the baby the best and asked her to say hi to her dog for me. I'm really going to miss that fluffy, cuddly guy. She said that she would and ended the reply with a smiley face. I'm relieved that it's over, but also feel bummed out for several reasons. First, I really, really love her. Dog.
Oh my God. Okay.
I don't love her.
I'm gonna miss her dog.
But I love her dog, man.
Miss her dog.
Good old Fluffy. He was a good boy. What can I say?
I need to drop that joke.
I've always wanted my own dog, but my current life arrangements make it difficult for me to have one. Second, text messages don't convey any form of emotion and feeling unless it's explicitly stated in the message. I'm not sure if she's really okay or just saying that because it already happened. By the way, if you're not okay, well, boy, oh boy, do I have a solution for you. And that is full episodes that you can binge with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We've got tons of episodes for you to binge to your heart's content. You will not run out of content.
Yeah.
I promise you. Reason number 3, this so-called relationship/companionship was the most civilized and peaceful relationship I've ever had. My previous relationships before this one lasted 6 years and was emotionally taxing and ended on very bad terms. I learned a lot from it and think that's one of the reasons why this last one seems so much smoother until the breakup via text message. We never had a real argument or fight. As good as it sounds, the relationship felt quite superficial for me, and that's another reason why I felt quite relieved with this breakup. I'll add this experience to my book of life and use it as my life lesson to become a better person when it comes to relationships. And this wraps it before I hit it, and wrapping it before I hit it, no matter what. That is correct.
Yep.
Although the idea of a vasectomy doesn't sound too bad.
Honestly, maybe that's the solution for you.
Might be the move, my friend.
Wow.
But that's it.
Michelle G, thank you for the $5. Still, how is 39 to be his mom? He's 27.
Well, he was like, she's probably sick because of her
This man
pregnancy
is clearly not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No. He's not the fastest Subaru in the garage.
He's yeah, that's all I got.
Not a WRX. More of a Outback.
That is the end of this story.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
see you tomorrow.
For real. Bye.